lessons I've learned, how can you increase your uploads? By the way, if you go live and you cut out some clips, you could go live one time, cut out 3 clips from that, and that could be 4 uploads. You start thinking smarter and not just harder and not just grit and hustle, but you think about strategy, just an observation. And we've learned, and that's one of the things we're implementing at Think Media, is just how do we keep quality high? While increasing quantity. Hear me if you say, well, which one's more important? In my opinion, quality is more important. I would rather put out one good video than 7 weak ones because I stretch myself too thin too soon.
So what are the secrets to some of the top performing YouTube channels? Here at Think, we love to study not only our students, but other YouTube channels that may not be considered YouTubers out in the world, meaning they may be businessmen or women, and we love to study what they're doing on YouTube to become successful. You know what I love about YouTube so much is that it's not just about the viral sensations like Mr. Beast, but it can be about everyday content creators and people who are making an impact outside of YouTube and bringing that impact on YouTube. And today we're going to be diving into some lessons learned from a YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers. My name is Heather Torres, and I am your host of the Think Marketing Podcast, the #1 podcast to help you grow your influence on YouTube and then turn that influence into a high impact and a high profit YouTube channel. If you're brand new to the podcast, I want to encourage you to subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast from. And if you haven't heard, our upcoming Grow It Video Live 2021 is right around the corner. I'll tell you more about that after today's episode, but I am giddy with excitement of all of the things happening this year at this virtual conference. Well, let's get into today's featured content with Sean Cannell, all about how this one YouTuber has impacted our channel.
Not cinematic.
No, I get that. It's just when there's a giant explosion behind us, maybe it's not the best time to walk in slow motion.
It's the only time to walk in slow motion.
What is atrial fibrillation? I like to tell patients, you should think of your heart to be like a house. The heart muscle is the brick walls on the outside. The heart chambers are like the bedrooms, and the heart valves are like the doors opening and closing between the bedrooms. The blood flow to the heart is the plumbing, and your heartbeat actually runs through an electrical network. So atrial fibrillation is an irregularity within the electrical network involving the upper chambers of the heart.
We have 2 upper chambers called atria and 2 bottom chambers, which are ventricles. And the atria are integral in helping the ventricle, which is the main pumping chamber, fill up with blood so you can have an efficient contraction and a good pump and good pumping of blood to all the organs. So when you have AFib, the atria, instead of being in a normal coordinated rhythm with the bottom chamber, the top chamber starts to go extremely fast and irregular and starts to almost quiver, where it's not able to contract in a strong way to provide good transport of blood from the top chamber to the bottom chamber, and that can lead to a lot of symptoms.
Starting after the wonderful age age of 40, anybody has a 20% chance that they could develop atrial fibrillation over their remaining lifetime. For patients over the age of 65, about 10% of people could have atrial fibrillation. In the US alone, they are projecting that by 2030, there will be over 12 million people with atrial fibrillation.
So I'm super fired up to share 5 powerful YouTube tips and strategies that I think are going to make a real difference in your channel, your business, and what you're building with YouTube. And I actually unpacked and discovered these strategies from Dave Ramsey. Now, you've maybe never heard of Dave Ramsey before. He's pretty well known in the personal finance space, but also kind of in his own niche, and definitely known around kind of more of a conservative audience and a very conservative viewpoint on finances. He's kind of known as the guy that will get you out of debt, debt-free scream, anti-credit cards. But when it comes to YouTube, a lot of people don't realize, even though he got his start on radio and he's been in the game for decades, that his YouTube channel has over 2 million subscribers. It has over 644 million views. And he actually has a second YouTube channel where he does 2-hour live shows 5 days a week. That's where his radio show streams on the radio, plus on YouTube. All kind of, you want to talk about multi-streaming, you want to talk about being live in multiple places at once. And so he goes live for 2 hours a day. That channel has 124,000 subscribers. I don't mean anything by this comparison, but I just looked up how many Google results show up for Sean Cannell per month. And there may be another Sean Cannell or two, who knows. But that's 373,000 Google results. And then I looked up Dave Ramsey, and it's 14,600,000 results. And sometimes Tony Ariola on the Think Media team, and one of my hobbies is to compare things on Google Trends. Like sometimes we compare cameras. So we're like, is the M50 more influential or is Dave Ramsey more influential? You just type in like 2 different things there. You know, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Dave Ramsey, or whoever. You know, he's typing like different names. It's kind of funny. So I type in like Sean Cannell, Sean Cannell is a 0 compared to Dave Ramsey, but Dave Ramsey's he's got a lot of influence, and that's just to put it out there as far as, again, maybe you've heard of him or you haven't, but no matter what you feel about him, whether you love him or hate him, despite even the controversy that he's been in lately, none of that is really the point of this episode. The point of this episode is real YouTube strategies that are going to help you win, that he models really well on his massively successful YouTube channel. And the first one is this: create a system and keep it simple. Cool thing about his YouTube channel is he basically has one strategy. We teach it here at Think Media. It's called ASQ, Answer Specific Questions. What he uploads on his main channel, over 2.3 million subscribers, is clips of his radio call-in show where people ask a question and he answers it, or he answers it with one of the Ramsey personalities that he rotates through his show. And so that's it. I mean, that's basically all that's on the channel, is him answering specific questions. One question, one answer, one video. He answers audience questions. Now, what's interesting was I was able to actually tour the Ramsey audience building recently, the office building. He's got 1,000 employees, right? It's a $300 million building that they paid cash for because they really don't believe in credit. And it's pretty crazy, everything that they've built there. And we hung out with the Entree Leadership Team, which is just the niche within the niche where they teach leadership. And we were learning about what they think makes a great business, which is also true, I think, about what makes a great YouTube channel. And we've actually at the beginning of the year, we did a YouTube strategy session where we put this into a phrase. And the phrase was, the creator who understands the viewer best wins. And when we were with the Entree Leadership Team, what they were saying is, they said, what can often happen in a business, content creators, authors, a church, a pastor, is they don't really understand who they're serving. They don't actually really understand, like, they're making products that nobody's asking for. They're making features on their products that nobody wanted. They're marketing their products in ways that are not connecting with the audience they want to reach because they're not using the right words. And he said, the number one thing you should do in your company, and this was advice they were giving us, is you should make all of your leaders and all of your team spend real time in conversation with your audience, in real time in conversation with your customers. And they said this, they said, the powerful thing about Dave is he spends 2 hours a day talking to the people we serve every day, 5 days a week. Super powerful. Years into his business, he's still in the streets, if you will, in the trenches, talking to people, which helps him maintain empathy, know where people are at, know the questions they're asking. And so he is super close to the people he's serving. And what they were also saying is we got people behind closed doors. We got leaders that are maybe coming up with ideas in a closed room that are out of touch with the people we actually want to serve and help. This is kind of a side point. How can you get closer to the people you're serving? But his system is simple. Started a live show. Go live 2 hours a time. Cut out clips. Answer specific questions. And of course, he's got to level up his craft and formulate his frameworks. And he's got a whole business. He's writing books, creating courses, he's doing all kinds of things. But number one, create a system and keep it simple. What's your YouTube system? How can you simplify it? How can you just create a simple system that scales? Number two, live streaming and repurposing content. If you haven't checked out one of our recent episodes of the Think Media podcast, we talked about some of the new things we do at Think Media that have been very powerful for us. And I saw this in Dave's strategy. Remember how I mentioned he has a second channel with his 2 hour live shows? So he's got a second channel. That's a much smaller channel, by the way. Now you might go, I would kill for 124,000 subscribers, but in comparison to his 2 million subscriber channel, this is a lot of insight for me. That he's got his main kind of core audience that want the long content, right? 2 hours a day, they're subscribed to that channel, 100,000 people. But out of those episodes then, they cut out the highlights and that channel has scaled to the moon. Because a lot of people don't want to spend 2 hours with you, but they might spend 4 hours, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. So live streaming and repurposing content. He's created a system. Goes live a couple days a week. No, you might not be able to do that. You might not want to do that. For us at Think Media, I do Coffee with Cannell every other week. Heather Torres does the YouTube Made Simple show every other week. We definitely don't do it every day. But even just going live, then what we're able to do is cut out clips. And a lot of times those clips do far better than the show itself. This is a powerful lesson I've learned from Dave Ramsey about YouTube success, because he's using the content in multiple ways. That content can also be extended onto social media, and it's helped him make a major impact. And I believe you could figure out if you could figure out how to weave that into your strategy, it could really move the needle for you. Number three, the power of a polarizing point of view. I love this. I mean, if you know Dave, then you know that he's a polarizing person. And it's part of his power. And he's a great example of this because, okay, he's in personal finance. He's helping people get out of debt. He's helping people manage money. Do you know how many people do that? It's uncountable. Do you know how many books there are in personal finance? Unlimited. Do you know how many channels and people you could follow? It's endless. But one of Dave's strengths is having an actual opinion and a polarizing point of view. What do I mean? He's anti-credit card, and they live it from top to bottom at their company. Like, you're probably not going to get in trouble if you have a credit card there, but it's their value system. They want people out of debt. They want people not over leveraged, right? And so they're living they're practicing what they preach. They know what they preach, but he's got a polarizing point of view. Now think about it this way. There's another guy, personal finance. His name's Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You ever read that book? Love that book. Love Dave's stuff, Total Money Makeover. And I'm maybe like a hybrid. Like I have credit cards. Do not tell Dave. I do use credit cards. I know but I just do. And I keep the balance paid off. I understand. I'm not even trying to get off into a rabbit trail here. I mean, I do like the cash back. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like I have to defend myself. Dave, there's no way he's watching this. But anyways, but you've got Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, what's his belief? He leverages like crazy. Real estate, like flipping real estate to pay for real estate to pay for real estate. They've both been wildly successful. I went to a Rich Dad, Poor Dad event once. And the speaker, this is kind of sketch. The speaker was like, he was telling us to buy mobile homes and flip mobile homes, okay? And he said, and we're like, well, we have no money for this. And out of his pocket, I kid you not, he pulled out a stack of credit cards with a rubber band around them, and he goes, and he's like, this is how you're gonna do it. And this is back when they were just giving out like 0% APR credit cards. And he was like, you could build a real estate mobile home empire with a stack of credit cards. And my wife and I were like, what is going on? Like, this is scary. So, I mean, I'm like, I'm not anti-credit card. I'm definitely anti that, but you know, somewhere in the middle. But here's the thing. They have massively different polarizing point of views. And Robert Kiyosaki's doing great. Dave's doing great. Why are both of them doing great? They're both loud about what they believe. My question for you is, what do you believe? What is your polarizing point of view that you can lean into? Not that you make up, that you're truly convicted by. I think the reason why I respect both of these guys is they're living in integrity. They are sold out. Integrity simply means a whole number. It means you're not divided. You're a whole integer. You're not actually, I'm kind of conflicted. You know why you do what you do. I know my personal discipline in using credit cards to have enough cash in the bank to be able to pay them off and leverage the percentage. I don't feel like I need to defend myself to Dave, even though I just did. And I know where I stand. I know what I believe. And it's not very polarizing. I'm the vanilla guy in the middle that's not willing to take a stand. Listen. What is your polarizing point of view? You know, my polarizing point of view is kind of offensive on a virtual event I did the other day, as I was like, listen, it's irresponsible for you not to be on YouTube, and YouTube is the best social media platform, period. It just is. Like, I was like, it's the only platform where your content lives forever. I just don't want to post day after minute on all these other social media platforms. I love them. I support them. I want to leverage YouTube to build a systems and a team around so we can make a greater impact on those platforms. But as a solo individual, the best return on my time is YouTube.
IRS e-file is now open. Snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free. Plus, get your biggest refund. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. File now.
With Pro Plan Sport, incredible happens here. But it starts here. Pro Plan Sport, advanced nutrition for strength and stamina.
I'll live or die in LA for YouTube. I gotta go YouTube. And so it's just, what's your polarizing point of view? And one of the things that's helped Dave cut through the noise, and you'll notice this, influencers that stand out make a stand for something. Influencers that stand out stand for something. They're willing to pick a fight. They're definitely not afraid if they call someone out, call out their viewpoint. They say, this is where I stand, this is what I believe. And this can really accelerate your YouTube channel. Not something you force, and it's not something that's fake. It's when you go deep on what are your values, what are your convictions, what are your beliefs, and you build your polarizing point of view. Number 4, volume of videos. Now, these are just some lessons I've learned from Dave. We can't all do these immediately because this one's about to make you spit out your coffee and fall out of your chair. How many uploads does Dave post per month? Well, at the time of recording this, the answer is 82. It's pretty gnarly, isn't it? 82 uploads a month. Think media. We are a team, and we're on the way up. We're on our journey. And Tony Ariola is our executive producer, and we're on our way to 7 a week. That's 1 a day. And after this episode, I'm going to have an all-team meeting, and I'm going to say, listen, if we're not at 82 uploads a month, then you're all fired. That's the next move. I'm just kidding, right? But volume of videos. And we've often said that if you double your videos, you double your views. Here's the question. It shouldn't stress you out. It shouldn't make you say, I'm going to stop sleeping. That's where I'm going to get the extra hours. I just won't sleep. No, that's not the answer. But the answer is thinking about, okay, how could I? Instead of saying, it's kind of like Rich Dad, Poor Dad would say, the way my rich dad taught me, He said, don't say I can't afford it. Say, how can I afford it? You know what I mean? Don't say I can't do 82 uploads a month. Say, how could I do 82 uploads a month? Dave is not just starting. Dave had a successful business before YouTube started. So, I mean, you got to give yourself some credit. You got to give yourself, but 82 uploads, there's a reason why he's getting 16.3 million views a month. On his channel, 5,308 uploads so far. Volume of videos, volume of uploads. Lessons I've learned, how can you increase your uploads? By the way, if you go live and you cut out some clips, you could go live one time, cut out 3 clips from that, and that could be 4 uploads. You start thinking smarter and not just harder and not just grit and hustle, but you think about strategy, just an observation. And we've learned, and that's one of the things we're implementing at Think Media, is just how do we keep quality high while increasing quantity? Hear me if you say, well, which one's more important? In my opinion, quality is more important. I would rather put out one good video than 7 weak ones because I stretched myself too thin too soon. But I want to ask, man, how can we keep quality high and increase volume? And by the way, I didn't even touch on the fact that Dave has personalities. So there's actually about like 10 channels in their network, and they're uploaded on those channels as well. Obviously, that's team, that's more people, that's more systems, that's infrastructure. This is not something you do overnight, but it is something you want to grow into. So think about how that could apply at just the smallest level. Man, how can I go from 1 upload to 2? What would I need to do? How much money would I need? Who would I maybe need to hire? What would I need to delegate? How could I turn 1 video into 2 by just being intentional? That could really help me get more views, grow my subscribers faster, grow my revenue faster, so I have more money for the mission. And then number 5, and I also have a bonus tip for you, a 6th tip. But number 5 that I love, and an observation that I see Dave Ramsey do, and some of the personalities, the Ramsey personalities do that lead to a lot of impact, is I see them do trend surfing. Now, if you're new to the Think Media podcast, super grateful that you're here. And I encourage you to go back in our library and look up the Think Media podcast episode about trend surfing, where we go deeper on it. But essentially, it's where you're talking about things that are happening in pop culture, things that are happening in culture now. And I shouldn't even say pop culture, because here's how it happens for Dave Ramsey. It's actually connected to his simple system. Why? Because someone calls in talking about what's on their mind at that moment. So right now, at the time of recording, the housing market's crazy. People are like, should I sell? It keeps going up. Should I buy right now? And so that is actually a trend. Sometimes it's a lot more chill. It's like stable. No one's really talking about it. People are just doing what they're doing based on what their family, but it's an edgy topic. Is it too late? Is the bubble about to burst? It's what's on people's minds. So naturally, many of the videos that they'll talk about in these simple ASQ videos, answer specific questions, are about what is happening in the now moment. So Dave will commentate on the news, on the economy, on the stimulus checks, on cryptocurrency, on the real estate market. And because he's trend surfing, some videos, 82 uploads a month, some just impact a few of the subscribers. It's just a solid video. You know, it's like a solid base hit. But some are a home run. And sometimes when the bases are loaded, it's a grand slam, because he hits the right topic at the right time with the right thumbnail and the right title in that right moment and surfs a trend. I definitely encourage you for more strategy and our favorite ways to spot trends. Check out that video in the archive of trend surfing on the Think Media podcast. But those are 5 tips, and I want to give you a bonus one in just a second. And ask yourself, again, what's the next right step for you? You know, you can't do all of these things all at once, and complexity is the enemy of execution. So we start with number 1, keep it simple. But what's a simple tweak? Can you start a live show? Maybe once a month and just repurpose. Like you could go live once a month and then repurpose clips once a week and stretch it out over 4 weeks. Like, there's ways to make this simple so that you can go down the path of least anxiety, go down the path of least overwhelm, while using leverage to create exponential results. But bonus tip number 6, that I've learned from Dave Ramsey about YouTube success, is that Dave and his team and Ramsey Solutions have built a business that's bigger than YouTube. And you know, at Think Media Podcast, this is our heart like more than anything. You know, we help you with YouTube, but our vision is to help you build a profitable business around your YouTube channel. And we actually are going to be going deep on that at our event, growwithvideolive.com, because it's not just about the views, it's not just about the subscribers, but it's about what else have you built around your business, around your YouTube channel that is in a real sustainable business. It helps for Dave Ramsey because he had a business preceding. He's helping people he had curriculum, books. Nowadays, he's got an app that helps you save money. It's free. There's paid aspects of it. He helps connect you with financial service providers. There's different ways where he makes affiliate income and connections of that. I mean, 1,000 employees paid $300 million in cash to build buildings and is building a conference center so they can do events on their property in Nashville. Cash. They build at the speed of cash, you know, and so touring their property. So what's the bigger business you're building? You know, YouTube ultimately, yeah, there's YouTube ads, amazing, right? Super chat, cool. Affiliate marketing, brand deals, awesome. But what's the bigger business? And the powerful thing is that all this traffic, he's on multiple platforms, but YouTube alone, 16 million views a month, crazy. But what's really crazy is how that leads into other products and programs and IP, intellectual property. And so the question I have for you is, what's the bigger business you're building? How can you build a bigger business that is not dependent on YouTube, that is not all about YouTube, but that's about the legacy and the impact, the problem you solve, the people you serve, who you help and how you help them, and something that can outlive YouTube? And if you want more help with that, I want to encourage you, don't miss our event, Grow with Video Live. We are going to be giving you the latest strategies on how to get views and how to grow your subscribers, and of course, how to really crush it on YouTube. But then how do you connect those strategies to build a real influencer business? And my definition of influencer is a thought leader business. If you want to be an author, speaker, coach, consultant, online course creator, online marketer, if you want to be an influencer, I think about the influencers of old are those like Marcus Aurelius. I don't know why he came to mind first. You know, Plato. You know, I'm talking about like Greek philosophers here. Talking about Abraham Lincoln. And I think about like Lincoln on Leadership and different books I've been, like influencers, people who influenced culture, people who influence the world. And if you listen to this podcast, maybe you want to write a book. You know, maybe you want to create a course. Maybe you want to teach what you know. Maybe you want to be paid for your expertise. Maybe you want to solve a problem. Maybe you want to create physical products and build online businesses. There's so much opportunity in the creator economy over this next decade. And at Grow with Video Live, we're going to be going deep. And you're going to be leaving with a growth plan and a business model and a game plan and clarity, cutting edge content that's going to help give you an edge over the next year. And you're going to be making connections with other like-minded, purpose-driven leaders, purpose-driven content creators, mission-driven people that don't just want to build their influence, but also want to make a major impact and difference in the world while doing it. So I hope you could be a part. It's a virtual event. You don't got to fly anywhere. You don't got to get a hotel room. And we made it super affordable, but make sure to lock in the lowest ticket price. And you can join us at growwithvideolive.com for Grow with Video Live 2021.
iPhone 16e has a durable design and ceramic shield because the average person drops their phone 208 times a year. Make that 209 once they see the price. iPhone 16e, latest iPhone, greatest price.
So I'm curious to know, did you know who Dave Ramsey was before this episode? I mean, I've followed Dave Ramsey for quite a while, and before I really jumped on YouTube as a content creator, I didn't really even know that he was posting that much on YouTube. And I love his simple strategy. He's answering simple questions. He's just sitting there. It's just a forward-facing, just a regular shot, no B-roll. He's just answering specific questions. And I hope that you can take some of these tips that we've learned from Dave Ramsey Ramsey and apply it to your YouTube channel. And if you have not gotten your tickets yet to Grow with Video Live, can you tell how excited I am when I talk about this? It's coming up really soon, August 2021. So make sure you grab your tickets. This is like the coming home party for all of the Think fam. This is where everyone is. If you're a content creator from around the world and you're getting serious about growing your YouTube channel, maybe you haven't even started, or maybe you're over 100,000 subscribers. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. This is the conference for you. At Grow with Video Live 2021, this virtual experience is going to be immersive and it's going to be so much fun. Along with the fun, you are also going to be taking away tactics and strategies that you can apply to your YouTube channel this year and beyond. We're serious about making sure that this content is fresh and fun, and we have so many great sessions planned for you. So make sure you get your tickets today at growwithvideolive.com. Now, if you know the podcast, you know that one of my favorite things is getting to read your comments over on our Apple Podcasts. I got it right this time. It's Apple Podcasts. In other episodes, I keep calling it iTunes because Tony, our producer, has pointed out to me that I'm old and that iTunes is how the old people say it, but it's the Apple Podcast. I get it. That's where you can actually leave your comments and rate and review this so that other content creators can know that this is the spot for them. Today's comment comes from Kathy at Fabulously Frugal. Kathy said, solid, concise, actionable. Yes, I love that, Kathy. I love Tuesday mornings because it means I have more wisdom dropping from Think. Each podcast generates ideas, strategies, and actionable items, chock full of golden nuggets. A must listen for any YouTube creator who is serious about creating change on the tubes. Kathy, I love that review. Thank you so much for saying we're chock full of golden nuggets. That makes my heart so happy because we put so much time and energy into making sure that these podcasts are concise and that they give you those actionable steps to take away from. I hope you're enjoying this while you're driving in your car, walking your dog, doing your dishes, or folding your laundry. Whenever you listen to the podcast, I'm just so grateful that you've chosen Think to be one of those podcasts that's influencing your YouTube journey. Well, we are going to head into our next episode next week, but make sure you get your tickets to Grow with Video Live, and I'll catch you there next time. Bye.
Not growing on YouTube? Learn the newest strategies for getting views and the best proven ways to make money at Grow with Video Live, a 2-day virtual conference. You can get your tickets today at growwithvideolive.com.
Get 7 days of big deals. It's Target Circle Week.
Once upon a time, Goldilocks took out the Ram 2500 Rebel. Next, he tried the Ram Charger. Then finally, the Ram RHO. And they were all just right.
Now during Ram Truck Month, purchase and get $7,250 combined cash allowance plus finance and get $1,250 bonus cash on 2025 Ram 1500. See your Chicagoland Ram dealer today.
Just one way that they make income because, well, one, usually it's a lot of streams that flow into the river that make full-time possible. Going from zero to full-time on YouTube. Is it still possible? Well, the answer is yes. And in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you an interview that I did with two successful YouTubers. One of them is in the entertainment space, and one of them is in the DIY space. And in this episode, we're going to be diving into the 7 ways that they're making money on YouTube. My name is Heather Torres, and I am the host of the YouTube Made Simple show. If you want to learn how to grow to your first 1,000 subscribers and beyond, learn how to gain confidence on camera and create a successful YouTube channel, then this is the show for you. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Well, this episode is brought to you by our upcoming virtual event, Grow with Video Live. And I'll tell you more about that at the end of today's episode. But if you haven't claimed your ticket, you can go to growwithvideolive.com right now. But I'll show you more about that after this interview. Let's dive into it because I cannot wait for you to hear from Leonardo and Brent. Now, this is an episode that is coming from one of our previous YouTube 1K challenge sessions. This is a free 5-day challenge that we do here at Think Media. And this is one of the sessions that I wanted to bring to you on the YouTube Made Simple show. So grab your notebook because we're going to be diving into these 7 ways to make money on YouTube. The first creator that I want to introduce you to is Brent. Brent is the creator of BYOT. He's a successful entrepreneur in a content creation space. Over the past 20 years, he's been honing his skills in the construction field. Wow, I'm really having a hard time reading right now. He received his construction management degree and has worked on countless job sites in a variety of roles. In March 2016, he started his YouTube journey. He posted his first DIY video, and from the very beginning, the message has been clear: helping others learn how to build and create in an educational and fun way. Now, 130 videos later, and averaging over 1 million views per month on YouTube, he is proud to say that BYOT, his brand, is helping more people than ever before. That is our first creator that's going to be joining us today. And our second creator is actually Leonardo Torres. Leonardo Torres' mother was married to an abusive man who tormented her for over 30 years. He prayed for an opportunity that would provide extra income and be able to supplement his stepfather's income. And because of YouTube, he was able to do that. Leonardo started a YouTube channel reacting to Christian music from a non-Christian perspective with that in mind. And in just a few months, he was able to make $1,000 to help his mother to free her from an abusive husband. After a year of working on his channel little by little, the music and the stories began to open his heart for more for what God had for him. And he decided to drop the non-Christian title and considers himself a student of Christ. He's grown his channel to over 77,000 subscribers and 6 million views in just over a year through reaction content, entertainment content, interviews, and by creating a thriving community who loves his channel. I mean, can we give it up for Brent and Leonardo? Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey. Excellent. Happy to be here.
Doing great.
Oh my goodness, man, your stories, I just want to dive so far into them. I know we'll get into some of it as we're going through today. But first, we're going to talk about getting started on YouTube, how you guys made money on YouTube, and we're going to walk through 7 ways that you two make money. First off, I'm going to start with Leonardo. Leonardo, I know that the first way that you make money is actually through YouTube AdSense. And that, for people who are just getting started, means that you have partnered with YouTube because you've made it through their threshold to be a YouTube partner. So 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time. Tell me about what it was like when you first got monetized with YouTube.
Well, it was exciting. It was, I didn't really, it hit me by surprise, to be honest, because I was just focused on putting out more and more videos, being hesitant at first, but realizing that was just the first baby step, was to get 4,000 hours of watch time, and then, the first 1,000 subscribers. And I knew that I was going to have to put out some videos. I couldn't have done it any other way. There's actually no other way to do it but that way. And then once I finally reached that and I hit that monetize button, things started to pick up. And on that first check that I received from AdSense was well over $1,000. I was thinking that it was going to be that $20 or $30 or something like that, but just pushing all the way through, pressing that button.
And I can't wait to really dive into that a little bit more. Brent, I know that you also are using YouTube AdSense, and this is a big driver. I mean, with over 1 million views a month happening on your channel. I know, right, Leonardo? I'm like, yes, please. I mean, he's been at it since 2016, right, Brent? So it's not like you just started yesterday.
It's been a long journey, to say the least, but
yeah.
the best thing about it is the fact that this is just the beginning. So that's the fun thing.
I love it. So tell me what it was like when you first got monetized on YouTube.
You know, it wasn't a big thing to me at that point, because the real big thing was the fact that I got a piece of mail from Google saying that I was a part of it, which was like, oh, they're actually recognizing me to be a part of this, you know, of their program, which is pretty amazing. And all of a sudden, I just took it a little bit more seriously. The reason why I started the channel was just because I felt like there was a need for fun DIY content out there. And there was a specific video that I wanted to create to help others because I seemingly could not find it anywhere. And of course, that one video led to another, and now 130 videos later. It's my full-time career.
Full-time career on YouTube, and really still getting to do what you love. I mean, you're still in construction, but now you get to bring what you love to so many people around the world. I think it's so amazing to see what you've built, and we're going to get more into all the ways that you monetize. But the second way that both of you monetize is through affiliate marketing. We talked about this actually in session number 3, where we talked about the RSP method, where we really dove into reviewing specific products. Now, of course, you're in the DIY space, so you're talking a lot about products, but I'd like to know, how did you find the affiliate marketing programs that you're a part of? And what are some of the marketing programs that you are a part of?
I mean, the nice thing about the affiliate marketing programs is that basically all of them are free and they're very easy to apply to. So my number one is Amazon, because it's the easiest to purchase and for people to click on. Then Home Depot, Lowe's, Etsy, that sort of thing. And the nice thing about my type of content is the fact that within every single video, I want it to be extremely easy for others to find the products and tools that I'm using. So in every single one of my YouTube videos, I provide a nice little link to every single tool and every single material that I am actually using on the project. So if anyone actually clicks that link and then purchases either that product or something like it through my link, I'm getting a small kickback. So I know on Amazon right now, I'm averaging 15 to 20,000 clicks every single month, which is pretty incredible.
So cool. Now you're a part of other programs like Home Depot and also Etsy. How did you decide to go with those programs?
In all honesty, it was just because of the fact that Amazon doesn't carry everything, even though they would like to think so. They don't, especially in the construction realm. And then with Etsy, there was a couple brands that I worked with that were specifically DIY brands that I actually utilize in videos. And that was one of my very first partnerships with a brand, was actually table legs, because I wanted to make this dining room table and I needed steel table legs. Well, I didn't want to spend $300 on beautiful steel table legs. So I reached out to a brand at that point, and they didn't give it to me for free, but they gave me a discount.
I love that. And so, really is just seeing where people are. It's so cool. People do buy a lot of things on the internet, but isn't it crazy though that the numbers are still really low? So being in affiliate marketing right now, you're at the very beginning of what is going to happen. So I'm sure that during what just happened in 2020, that so many people were probably ordering things on HomeDepot.com, on Amazon.com, on Etsy.com, right? For the things that you're recommending.
Yep. Yeah, there was a huge uptick at that point, and it was nice to see because people were actually using that time at home, hopefully in a positive and productive way by building something.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And Leonardo, you also do affiliate marketing as well. And we had some people that were interested. How in the world do you do affiliate marketing as an entertainment and a reaction style channel? So how do you do that? How do you incorporate that stream of income into your work?
Well, I don't have cool tools like Brent does, like that I can review or open or unbox like many people. But in reacting to music, I encourage people like, okay, grab your headphones and let's listen to this song. And a lot of people were like, well, what headphones do you recommend? And instead of telling people, okay, well, go to Best Buy and buy this thing, I decided, hey, why don't I contact the company that I use and see if there's an affiliate program with them. Luckily, there was. And anytime somebody mentions something in the comment, like, hey, what headphones do you use? I just send them the link or put the link in the description below, and that allows them to go and purchase the same ones that I have. In fact, people send me pictures on Instagram and tell me, hey, look, I got your headphones, and just every once in a while talking about the headphones, like, oh, I love these headphones because you can hear everything so clear, the music, the sound. And every once in a while, I get questions about like, hey, so you play guitar, and what guitar do you recommend? So that's where Amazon kicks in, and I can have like a beginner's package, like a bundle, with a guitar strings, guitar amp, and stuff like that they could just click and buy right directly from them. And it all adds up, especially like books on like scales or guitar method or practically anything. And once they get shopping for that instrument, anything else they buy it counts towards your link.
Yeah, so I'm over here in your one of your videos where you were like rocking out. I mean, come on, just like entertainment to the max. Look at this. Oh man, yes, look at the smile. I just love it.
I'm a professional air drummer.
Yes, I can watch this all day long. It's so good. But I want to show how you do this. So some people are like, entertainment, guys, he's just reacting to this song. But here you go right here, official merch. You've got some merch happening on Teespring. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But here you go, headphones, also the noise canceling headphones, gear that you use. So people are just wondering, how do you even make this cool setup? Yeah. So I'm sure people are looking at the things that you have in the back of your, the guitar and the cool light and, all of that. People want that stuff, and you're able to just put it right down in the description below. So it's not necessarily like you're recommending a product, but did you do a video on just the headphones?
No, I haven't even done a single video on the headphones. People just want to know what headphones I use.
So cool. And I'll bet people ask, like, what glasses do you have? What guitar is that in the back, right? Because everyone wants to be a part of what you're doing. Well, the third way of making money on YouTube is actually brand deals. And there is no one better actually to talk about this than Brent. Brent, you have done so many brand deals. If you go to your website right now, he's got all of these different brands that he's worked with. You've worked with big and small companies. Like you said, companies that you reached out to on Etsy and other companies who are sponsoring so much of your content. Talk about though, what was it like? I know you talked about the legs for that table, but talk about some of the beginning brand deals that you had. How did you know what to price yourself, and what was that process like for you?
I mean, so early on when you're at that point, you have to realize no one's going to really give you money to do something on your YouTube channel. It's mainly about free product and what can I get for free, but I can also position myself nicely. So there was plenty companies that were just providing me product like a LED floodlight. That was one of my very first projects that I did that had some type of brand deal. They just sent me 2 free floodlights. I was like, okay, I'll install them. I'll do a video. Perfect. And slowly but surely, you actually get to the point where, okay, I can actually demand a compensation for it. And the nice thing about it is that it gradually gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now I'm to a point where I actually had to hire a brand manager because there's so many brands that want to work with me. I don't have the time to actually answer all of these emails while also building and doing all my videography and voiceover and editing.
Mm-hmm. And it starts to become like a second job, managing all the brands that you want to work with. But when you first got started, did you right away go for brand deals, or did you start to build your influence first before starting to approach companies?
Yeah, I definitely built my influence first. I was not thinking whatsoever as far as what type of brand deals I could get. I know some different types of channels would think about that because it's such a nice avenue, and I wish I actually thought of it earlier. But for me personally, my first year on YouTube, I was just kind of seeing what was going to happen with it. I was just more doing it for a passion. I wanted to do something else that would help others out there in the world. So I wasn't even thinking about it as a job. Now it is my full-time career. I'm thinking about it every single day. But early on, when I was working with brands, it was all about just trying to get free product or trying to get that connection, because not just because your project is you're only getting free product from it at the very beginning doesn't mean you can't build that relationship into something huge. I've done brand deals where it was just for free product early on, but now because of where I am now, they're paying me potentially at least 4 to 5 figures for another brand deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we won't get into the specifics of how to hire a brand manager or any of those things. Brent's been at this for a while, and so those are kind of more advanced strategies that we're gonna hold on to, because first we want you to build your influence. We want you to get monetized on YouTube. We want you to start doing affiliate marketing, because brand deals, as much as they sound like they're fun, they're a lot of work, aren't they, Brent?
Yes, it is literally constant back and forth trying to land something, because not every brand really has a strategy for brand deals, especially in different marketplaces. So especially in the construction realm, not everyone is tech savvy and really understands the world of YouTube. But you just have to try and position yourself nicely. One of the key things that I wish I did sooner was to provide some type of media kit. Mm-hmm. And that's what I would suggest to anyone out there. If you are taking YouTube seriously and you really want to put yourself out in the best light possible with brands, create a small little media kit which just has who you are, analytics of your channel, and what you're about, which really resonates, I think, nicely with brands.
Mm-hmm. And an easy way to do that is actually over on a free site called canva.com. You type in media kit and you can actually get access to these beautiful kits that all you have to do is just throw a couple of photos in, and it tells you exactly what you should include on this. And you're right, this is what brands want to see. They don't want you to just email them blindly. They want to work with professionals. So if you're at a level where you're ready to start partnering with brands, you want to be professional in what you're doing. I love that you said that you built that influence first, though. And sometimes it just starts with free products or just affiliate memberships. It's not necessarily all about landing the 6-figure deals, which are really hard to land. So let's get into number 4. Number 4 is actually one of the ways that Leonardo makes income. And this is actually with the YouTube memberships and Patreon memberships. This is a great way for entertainment style content to be able to monetize and give more to their members. Can you talk through what does it look like to be a member of is it the La Familia? Is that correct?
La Familia, yeah, La Familia.
Right. La Familia. So what does it mean to be a member of that? How did you get started with YouTube memberships? Again, there's a threshold to this. So you do have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to get started. But walk us through, Leonardo, how do you use this as an income stream?
Yeah, a lot of the things that are being covered here are just should be motivators for people to push to get to that threshold. But I started just like Brent, is you got to build a community. So I built a community of people who trusted my suggestions and songs, and I built a family. It's La Familia, is Spanish for family. So I built a good family that supported the channel. And I was hesitant to start Patreon, and a few of the subscribers were like, you got to start Patreon. And I'm like, I don't know, I feel kind of weird about it. And they're like, no, don't feel weird about it. Just start it. People will support you. And I opened it up. The first video that I posted the link to, and I suggested it. I was all awkward too, like, oh, there's a Patreon, follow us. And funny thing is that a lot of people jumped on board. You think that they're not. You think like, why would anybody support this? I react to music. I've never in my life thought that I would have so many people supporting music in that way, but it was. I think even Patreon was surprised, because in that first initial check, before they paid out that check, they're like, "There's some weird activity going on in your Patreon. We have to double check and make sure that." I guess they wanted to make sure that all these accounts were real, and then finally, when they verified that they were all real, then they made that first payment. But basically, Patreon is just a way for people to support your channel. You hear like radio stations that say like, "Hey, you can become a sponsor of this radio station for more more, great content like this, you can jump on board and partner up with me. And for this much a month, you can gain access to behind the scenes footage, or you can gain access to like discounts on merchandise, things like that. And then YouTube memberships came along, and they made it easy for you to communicate with members only. So you can have members only content. Every once in a while, I'll do like a vlog where I'll update them on stuff that's coming up on the channel, so that they can get first view on things like that. When I started my podcast, I was pre-recording the podcast, and I gave them access to watch the podcast about 3 or 4 days before it actually went public. And it just makes them feel like they have, like, they're supporting, they're like producers. Practically, they're supporting with a certain amount of dollars per month, and they keep the channel alive, and they know that, and they're proud to be a part of that. They have special stickers, like you saw there. I have my dog Archie back here. Is how I rate my music. I say, how many Archies do you give this song, and we rate it in Archies. And so they love Archie. They love the channel. They love my girlfriend Erika, who you've seen on the videos there too. They jump on board. They love to be a part of something big. They see that you're doing something big. They see you're going somewhere, and they're happy to push you and to encourage you and support you in that way.
Yeah, and there's a ton of videos on YouTube of how to set these up, but here's a couple key things that I want to point out that you did on this. One, you did it from a good place. You weren't like, please subscribe, please join this so that I can get a ton of money. And then you were like, hey, if you want to support what I'm doing, just like a radio show does, like, you educated your viewers and you gave them a way to go deeper with you. And you did a community building, tribe building aspect of it, which is the Archies. And that's a part of what people are doing. Someone said, can any content creator do this? Yes, but you have to make this a strategic strategy, meaning that, Leonardo, you're putting time and energy into these folks who are investing in you. Is that right?
Right. And you have to, like, it's not a trade-off. It's not like you become a member and so I give you this, but they have access. You got to make sure that they feel like they have access, and they have some fun stickers that they can use. Just this morning, I had a live stream and someone was like, hey, what's the green? Because they have their name in green, and they're like, oh, you become a member. Cool. How can I become a member? And then they encourage each other, and they see that they have special stickers, special emojis that they can use, and all that.
It's so cool. And the next one actually we'll stick on with you right now is actually other ways that YouTube monetizes. So here's a couple things that I want to make sure people know that they can do. And I want you to talk through this a little bit. A couple ways when you go into your YouTube studio and you go down to monetization, again, you need to be partnered with YouTube. You need to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to have this. But when you go into these supers, you actually showed me a cool feature today that I had to turn on. But there's a few other ways that while you're live streaming and now while you're not live streaming, people can actually tip you, right? They can do these things called super chats and super stickers. Talk about how you utilize that in your entertainment style content.
So a lot of my videos are, well, because of copyright issues, they're not allowed to have the super chats because you're not allowed to monetize on copyright material like music. But every once in a while I'll jump on a live and I'll do like a spontaneous live Q&A, and I'll answer questions from members, and a lot of times they'll jump in and support. So they'll donate like $2 and then ask their question, or they'll say like, hey, here's $50 so you can take your girlfriend out for dinner, things like that. And they support you with just like little, they're like tips. They're like tipping you, like, hey, thanks for everything you do. Thanks for your for the information that you provide. And that's one way to doing. So when you're doing a live like we are right now, there's a super chat they can pay and tip you. Then they have super stickers. They can buy a sticker. It's the same as a super chat, but today I noticed that there's a new thing called super thanks, and that's not just for live video streaming. It's going to be available soon, apparently by the end of the year, for everyone, where people can actually tip you on a video that you've already uploaded. So they can be watching your video and loving it, and there's a little button in the bottom that'll say thanks, and they're able to click on it and then donate $2 as a sort of thank you for the information. So educational videos are going to be big for that, I think, because the more you educate people, the more information you give them, they're grateful for it, and a lot of them are compelled to tip you for that.
Yeah, it's really interesting too. We'll be doing a live stream. I'll be doing like a YouTube Made Simple show, and I'll be live, and someone will just super chat $10 and just say thank you so much for this content. And it feels so cool as a creator because you know that you're giving value, and this is a way that someone can help you support what you're doing. These are all different ways that you can support. But as a content creator, having all these multiple ways of income really helps, right, Leonardo?
Oh yeah, it does. It really does, especially if you have something that you're working towards. Like, in my case, I just wanted to free my mother from this person who was tormenting us, and thanks to YouTube, and also, I mean, I keep credit where credit is due. Also, think media. Like, yes, you have all this free information. Like, I started off watching all your videos online for free, and eventually I was like, there's got to be more to it than what they're giving us, and there's this wonderful treasure of information that just took it to the next level, and so thanks to all of that, I was able to supplement his income, and now my mom still works, but now I get to do this from the comfort of my own home. I get to stay here. I get to drop my daughter off at school, pick her up from school. I get to take a break if I wanted to, take a nap in the middle of the day, things like that. So,
which I do all the time, actually. As a YouTuber, I nap in the middle of the day all the time. It's like part of the badge of honor you get to wear with that. So fun. Well, I'm really excited. A couple questions did come in. A lot of these on YouTube specifically, the YouTube Partner Program and these other ways of monetizing through memberships and also through the supers that are available. You do have to reach that threshold of 1,000 subscribers. And here's why. YouTube wants to make sure that you are a legit creator. They don't want spammers trying to spam people. So this is a good thing. It protects us as creators when they have a threshold of people getting to that. And it's such a great way to create community online. It's such a cool way that YouTube's given us so many tools. By the way, one of the only platforms, I know that you can monetize on TikTok, you can monetize a little on Instagram, but one of the only ways that Leonardo was able to go full time and be able to help his mom in the situation she was in because of the revenue sharing that YouTube themselves does with their creators. It's just a really, really cool way to make money online. The next way is actually number 6, which is doing contracted projects. So this is great I also look at this too as like coaching or consulting. So it's this idea that using the stream that YouTube gives you of putting out great content into the world, helping people, you actually can gain influence, and people are calling Brent saying, hey, I saw the deck you made. Can you come make me a deck? So Brent, talk about how this has really impacted your family and your income because of the influence on YouTube.
Yeah, it was massive because with my industry, and there's a lot of different industries that we could relate this to, but with my industry, it's construction. So I did have a set of skills that people needed a deck, people needed a shed, and therefore I built that for them, and it worked out perfectly because I could build them something, get an hourly wage, or I submitted a budget for the project, but I also was able to create content at the same time. And the real aspect of where the channel is now is that I wanted to have consistent content on the platform, and consistency is so important when it comes to YouTube. And throughout the entire year, I've been trying to get out videos every single week, versus when I was working for someone else, it was more maybe once a month. And that was a key aspect, not only to growing my following on YouTube, but also making my skills better, as well as more likelihood of people finding me because there's more videos out there.
It's amazing. And we get this a lot with coaching and with even being able to sell an online course. I mean, YouTube is our main driver of people discovering us and discovering the possibility of going deeper and working with us. So if you are an author, a speaker, you do DIY work, you do consulting, maybe you're in finance or real estate, this is such a great avenue to be able to get additional leads into your business, right? To be able to get those people that are so interested in what you're doing into your business. Inside of Video Ranking Academy, we have architects, we have gardeners, we have Brent is in there, so we have contractors, and we have so many skilled people who are able to get leads just from YouTube. Well, I want to bring up the next and final way. We're doing 7 ways. We'll review them. Number 1 was AdSense. Number 2 was affiliate marketing. Number 3 was brand deals. Number 4 was YouTube memberships and Patreon memberships. Number 5, YouTube monetization. Wow, I feel like Vanna White right now. Number 6 was contracted work. And number 7, which I think is underrated, especially for entertainment channels and channels like Leonardo's, really is things like just Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Talk about how this is a revenue stream for you, Leonardo, and maybe a cool story about how this has impacted your income.
Yes. Well, you sometimes you approach things like the channel and you think, well, there's tons of people who do reaction videos, right? You can just type in reaction to anything and you'll get hundreds of people, right? But the thing is, you have something unique that to offer. Like there's something that only you can offer, whether it's your personality, whether it's like your sense of humor or your insight to music or whatever product or whatever thing, like you just mentioned, like real estate. There's something special that you can offer. So first and foremost, thinking about what value you can provide, what you can give, for free or offer people a value. And when it comes to Cash App and PayPal, there are people who want to donate money to you. I know it sounds weird, but there are people out there, good people, who love you for who you are, or they love what you're doing, or they see themselves in you somehow, and they just want to encourage you, right? So in my case, I have people who love the songs that I'm reviewing, and you get a lot of people just requesting songs. Unfortunately, I would love to do them all. In fact, I tried at one point. I was doing a video a day for about 4 or 5 months until I almost burned out. But then little by little, someone actually said, hey, do you have a Cash App? I said, yeah. He goes, I'm going to send you a Cash App. And they send me a Cash App request for a song. And I was like, wait a minute, you're now paying me to do? And I was like, okay, sure. So what I do is I encourage people. So I said like, hey, today's video is brought to you by, and I mentioned their name. So like, hey, today's video is brought to you by Andrew Lethco. And he requested that we listen to this song. And so here you go. And they love that. They love that you're mentioning them. So they're in a way sponsoring that specific video, right? With a Cash App donation. They don't need to know how much it is. It could be $2, $5, or more. But the fact that there's the ones that are sponsoring that one with that video, which can also still be monetized, or I don't know how that works. But I've had people donate, anywhere from $1 to up to a good decent amount. In fact, I had one gentleman who really loves the channel. He's a big supporter of the channel. He got a bonus at work for I don't know how much his bonus was, but he wanted to bless the channel, and he donated through Cash App. He donated $1,000 to my channel. And at first it felt weird to accept that kind of donation, because it's like, that's a lot of money. Like, are you sure you didn't make a mistake? Are you sure you didn't accidentally click an extra 0 or something? I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. He's like, use it however you want. And I'm pretty sure that I just wanted to bless you. I've been blessed by your channel. I just want to bless your channel. And so thanks to him, you can take a look at some of my videos before, I think it was November of that last year. And you'll see the lighting was a lot different, and the quality of my camera was a lot different. And so thanks to that donation, I was able to, up my game a little bit more. And now I'm able to continue with it. In fact, I also gave away like Amazon gift cards and stuff. So it allows you to still give back and to accept those types of donations from people. And I still receive them almost every day.
It's just incredible. I mean, trying to get to your first 1,000 subscribers, you weren't even or $1,000. You weren't even expecting that to be something. And there are good people in the world who want to support your art and your vision. I do not believe that you need to be a starving artist. I do believe that YouTube is a way that you can have a full-time career, and you can be surrounded by some incredible people like Leonardo is. And I just want to show, just like you said, I mean, this is the journey. This is, you see how he is right now? Like, look at how cool Leonardo is. We got a TV tray right here, right? We got the light in the back. We're not even sitting in front of the microphone. I mean, it's been so a journey, huh?
It has been. I still have one microphone, but looking to invest in another mic. But yeah, look at that.
I love it. It's so great. And then to see where you are now, just is incredible. And just to see that, there are good people in the world who want to support what you're doing. And really, really, these are all just ways of doing income stacking on YouTube. So it's not just one way. Most of the times when you experience a creator, it's not just one way that they make income because, well, one, usually it's a lot of streams that flow into the river that make full-time possible. And full-time is different for everyone, right? And really your motivation for what you're doing and how you're doing it. I know, Brent, your story really was you were doing YouTube on the side of your main job for so long. And then you really just took that step and were able to really invest in your own channel and have that. Whereas Leonardo came in, pandemic happened. He's like, I need to start something. So he started a channel and went all in. So you might be at a different place in your life than either one of these two creators. But just to let you know, it is definitely possible, but it takes work. So as we end, because I have you both here on the spot, I just need to ask, so many people right now are on the fence of deciding whether they should invest in their education and go deeper with us in Video Ranking Academy. I have not pre-asked this question, so I don't know what you're gonna say. And so this is just Heather asking you, what would you say to someone who's on the fence of deciding if they should be a part of our Video Ranking Academy community, Brent?
Well, it's perfect timing because I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time, especially at the job site. And there was a one line that just struck a chord so well with me. And he was English, so I'll try and say this is my best English accent. But he specifically said, have the courage to be rubbish. Or have the courage to be rubbish. That's what he specifically said. And it was basically dictating, don't be afraid to start even if it's bad. Because no matter what, no matter how much you prepare, that very first video is going to be rubbish. Just like my very first video, I look back at it and I cringe a little bit inside because of how rough it is. But it gives me pride because it now shows me how far I've come. And no matter what, no matter how many skills you have, at the very beginning, you're going to be rubbish. But through hard work, through dedication, through working on yourself, if you continuously work and build upon yourself and build upon your skills, you're going to get better and better.
Wow, very well said. I'm going to write that one down. Have the courage to be rubbish. I love that so much. Leonardo, you've been a part of our family for just over a year. Oh, no, less than a year, right? I think 6-7 months now. Incredible to see what you've done with your channel. But to someone who's on the fence of deciding if Think Media are the coaches that they want, and if they want to invest their time and energy and money into the next step with us in the bundle, what would you say to someone on the fence?
I'd have to quote Shia LaBeouf and just say, just do it. Just do it. And I know this program is called Think, but don't think about it. Just sign up for it. Don't second guess yourself. Once you click on it and sign up for the program, you're gonna have access to tons of videos, tons of information that you won't get on YouTube. Yes, Think Media holds back the good stuff for the other, for those who are seriously committed, because there's no point in giving away all that free information if you're not gonna run, follow through. So if you're serious about whatever your goal may be, whatever it is to make a little extra money, to go on vacation, or if it's something more serious like mine, which was to help my mother out, or like Sean, who was just wanted to pay all those medical bills and stuff like that. You have to have that. Look at your why, and if it's worth it, $97 a month is nothing. Like you probably spend that on a trip to Walmart. You go to Walmart to buy like a gallon of milk, and you walk out of there with like $150 worth of stuff that you don't even remember you bought. So just seriously, just sign up for it. Go for it. There's tons of information on there that'll be like incredibly valuable to you, that will help you get to that first $1,000 and first 1,000 subscribers. It's worth it. It's really worth it when you see all the things that we just talked about right now, with all the great things that you could do with like super chats and Venmo donations and all the things that are holding you back right now because you can't do those stuff because you don't have that first 1,000. Like, it's worth it. Just keep pushing it. It's just like Brent said, like, just press record. Don't be rubbish, or be rubbish. Have the courage to be rubbish. I mean, look at, I started sweating when I saw that footage of my my lighting. Right? I started sweating.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring mine up.
I was trying to find it.
And honestly, And honestly speaking, like I said this earlier before we got started, but like my YouTube channel hopes to be like Brent's YouTube channel when it grows up. Like he's got like a lot of people on there, a lot of awesome affiliates, and a lot of awesome people that he's working with, and anyone can do that. Anyone can. There it is.
Oh, look at that good
Here
stuff.
you go, Brent. Here you go. I mean, might as well just show. This is just Brent in the early days. Here's the can. Here's the thing. Here's you doing the project, right? Just so cool to see, just the evolution of what you guys have done. Well, thank you guys
And
so
everything
much.
done on my iPhone for years. Everything was done on my iPhone for years. No special cameras, just my little iPhone.
Well, I got one for you too. I did it on my Android too before I started on my Android, so that's even worse. The quality.
No, that is no. Did you need to hear that inside of the challenge? Both of these guys started with their phones when they started. It wasn't all the fancy equipment. It wasn't all the cool stuff. Just so incredible. Well, I just want to thank both of you for so many things. One, for being action takers. You know, if you guys both know, being around us, that like that is our biggest thing. We just want people to take action. And I'm just so grateful that both of you have become success students. Both of you are successful in your own ways, doing your own things. And like Brent said at the beginning, you're just getting started. Isn't it crazy to think that while you've been crushing it on YouTube for this long, that you're just getting started and there's so much more opportunity. I can't wait to bring you guys back on next year and talk about all of the success that you've had beyond this year. But I just want to thank you both for being here tonight, for pouring into people. And where can they find you if they want to be part of your tribe, Leonardo?
On YouTube, it's Leonardo Torres Music, so you can just find me there, and then all my socials are linked to that page.
So good. My non-cousin Leonardo, I'm sure the coolest last name, right?
Right.
I love it. And Brent, where can they go? And where can I get a cool shirt, Brent? I want a BYOT shirt.
Yeah, you can be a sexy beast right there.
Yes, I should be a sexy beast shirt. Yes.
Everything on my platform is going to be BYO tools. So BYOTOOLS, which means bring your own tools.
That's cool.
Well, I hope that you got all of these 7 ways of how to make money. And isn't it awesome that Leonardo was sharing his journey as an entertainment channel and the ways that you can make money, not even on YouTube, but with your YouTube channel. Brent is actually now a successful YouTuber. He does this full time now, as well as Leonardo, but he's getting clients from his YouTube channel. So I hope that you implement at least one of these and let me know in the comment section below, which income stream are you doing right now on your YouTube channel? Well, like I said, this episode is brought to you by our Grow with Video Live conference. It's coming up very soon, and I want to make sure that you secure your ticket if you're interested in the #1 conference for YouTubers. This is for you if you want to learn how to grow and scale your YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers and beyond. You're going to have the whole Think Media team there for you, as well as some amazing giveaways. We partnered with some awesome brands who are going to be bringing you things like cameras and microphones and free subscriptions and full YouTube starter kits. I can't wait for you to be there and get all of the knowledge of this year's Grow with Video Live. It's virtual, so you can come and be a part of this conference from the comfort of your own home or office or out back, wherever you are. You can be a part of this conference. Check out this clip for more information.
Not growing on YouTube? Learn the newest strategies for getting views and the best proven ways to make money at Grow with Video Live, a 2-day virtual conference. And you can get your tickets today at growwithvideolive.com.
iPhone 16e has the best battery life for an iPhone this size, so nothing's stopping you from getting the high score, except the stairs, benches, and rails. iPhone 16e, latest iPhone, greatest price.
Your home is your happy place until you come back to bad odors. Use Febreze plug-in. It has a microchip that alternates between 2 scents to fight odors and provide freshness for up to 50 days. Try Febreze Plug.
So you want to start a YouTube channel and you have decided that this is your year. Maybe you've gone to YouTube already. You've watched videos on how to actually start, but you want to know the secrets to YouTube success. Well, rather than Googling your eyes out trying to find this information, I've brought to you two amazing YouTubers who have reached over 100,000 subscribers. And we're going to break down 10 things that we wish we knew if we were starting a YouTube channel this year. Well, my name is Heather Torres, and you are watching the YouTube Made Simple show, the show where we go to overcome your fears, gain confidence on camera, and create a thriving YouTube channel with your message. And actually, this show right now is brought to you by our YouTube 1K challenge. I'll share more information about that with you during today's episode, but I want to introduce you to the two content creators that we have with me today. The first one is Lauren. Lauren is a cancer survivor as a child, and she knows the importance of living in the moment. That's why at the age of 27, Lauren quit her cushy job as a research scientist to pursue a career in music. When Lauren was 16, her very own mother told her sister not to buy her a guitar because she would waste it. Well, Lauren decided she was going to teach herself how to play the guitar on her own. And in 2010, Lauren decided to give a shot at entrepreneurship and started teaching voice and guitar lessons out of a spare bedroom in her small apartment in Boston, Massachusetts. She had zero teaching experience, but knew that that was what she needed to do. She has taught on YouTube now and now has a channel that's over 100,000 subscribers. Lauren, welcome to the YouTube Made Simple show.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. We're going to get into 10 tips, but I want to introduce our other co-creator today, and that creator is Andrew Tui. Did I say that right, Andrew? I hope I did. I should have asked beforehand. But Andrew is the creator of Dadverb, and he produces content for new parents and young families from a dad's perspective. He creates videos and reviews for a variety of family-related products, including home tech, toys, baby gear, and gadgets for dads. His goal is to encourage dads, educate new parents, and bring a new vibe to the world of parenting. As he blends the review videos with personal vlogs, his ultimate goal is to celebrate fatherhood and elevate dads' voices in the parenting space. He's built a successful YouTube channel to over 100,000 subscribers. Andrew, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. And it's Andrew Tew, rhymes with few.
See, I knew it.
It gets a lot, for sure.
I got it. Well, hey, I am so excited and fired up that both of you guys are here today. And before we got on today's show, we actually talked about 10 reasons. We've discussed 20 reasons, but we distilled them down to 10 that we thought that new creators needed to know about. So, Lauren, the first one is consistency is key. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, being new to YouTube, I didn't understand that, I would do like a block of videos and I'd upload like 10 videos on the same day all at once because I knew nothing about YouTube when I started, right? So I think knowing that, getting into a schedule of I'm going to record and picking a day, even if it's just one day a week, I'm going to post a video every Saturday. Getting into that habit of having a schedule is super important to being successful on YouTube because I think consistency really is key because it's showing that YouTube algorithm, hey, we're doing this every week. We're consistently putting data into the system. And, I think that was a big failure for me in the beginning because, I do a few videos and then like life would happen, right? Because you get busy and then I do a few more videos. So I literally, when I go back and look at my analytics in YouTube, I have spaces of like 2 or 3 months where I didn't even upload a single video within like the first year when I was doing YouTube. And then I learned that, you have to get consistent. I had to take this serious if I was going to be successful and started posting every week. And now for my guitar teaching channel, I post twice a week, every week.
That is amazing. Twice a week, every single week. But you built up to that, right? Consistency doesn't necessarily happen overnight, like you said, but it is the build up to that. Well, actually starting a YouTube channel, Andrew, as you know, really means that you have to become the jack of all trades. Talk a little bit about this as it comes to starting a new YouTube channel. And what does this mean when you say embrace being a jack of all trades?
So it's wild because this realization hit me like just a couple days ago when I read an article from Social Blue Book, and it's expected for creators to truly be a jack of all trades and embrace certain things. One thing being copywriting, another thing being really good at design, knowing how to Photoshop thumbnails, principles in videography. There's lighting, you have to understand cameras, understand microphones. There's video SEO, how to rank videos, and there's social media management, right? And then you have to like sell yourself, because if you want to work with brands down the line, there are things that you have to learn just to sell yourself in. These are so many characteristics and traits that like people go to school for and people pay tons of money to learn. Like I went to college for copywriting, right? And this is just one aspect of what it's kind of like, what's needed of a content creator today in 2021. So it's overwhelming at times, but at the same time, like you have to embrace so much. And it's actually really exciting just to be like, I am learning an insane amount of stuff, and I can do it so quickly now through YouTube, through VRA, through so many different things. And but the one thing to understand is that you really do have to embrace that. There's going to be a lot required of you. There's going to be a lot asked of you, and really trying to master all of these things. That's really that's really going to define you as a creator. It's going to help.
Mm-hmm. Man, and I feel like when you start on YouTube, I view it as like the movie credits on the end of a movie, and you see just the line of all the people it took to produce that. That's you at the beginning, right? It is you being the person on everything you're doing, but not in a discouraging way. I think it's so awesome to get to learn all of these new and valuable skills. And we're going to talk a little more. Yeah, we're going to talk a little more about that as one of your points too in a bit, Andrew. But man, I think the next one is so key. And we went over this one, number 3, that Lauren brought up, which was to know your exact audience. And we talked about this inside of our YouTube 1K challenge, one of our YouTube challenges, where it really is about understanding your niche. But I love how you said this, Lauren, know your exact audience. Why don't you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so, like I said, I'm a guitar teacher, and I knew, because I used to teach privately, there was a certain group of people that I really connected with, and that tended to be people over the age of 50. And I was like, well, these people tend to be ignored online because people think like people who are older aren't like technologically savvy and yada, yada. So I said, I'm going to just tailor my channel to this audience, which meant that I needed to, when I do my tutorials, I go a little bit slower. I make sure that I repeat things a lot of times. Now, I know when someone is watching one of my videos and they're like a younger person, because they're like, you're too slow, you're talking too much, like go faster. But that's not who my video is for. My video is for an older learner. And specifically, because I do a lot of music lessons, so I do a lot of song tutorials, I'm doing the songs they love. I'm doing the Beatles. I'm doing, Neil Young, Led Zeppelin. I'm not doing a lot of modern music. And every once in a while I do something a little bit more modern. I think I just did an REM song and that went over well, but sometimes they don't always go over well because they're out of the genre of the decade that my audience likes. So I really cater my content to people over the age of 50, particularly men who are retired, and we just love the same music, and we vibe off of each other. I have my Camaro in the background. They all notice the classic car, and we just have a lot in common. So it makes it really, really easy to interact with them. And I was just like, I'm just going to focus on these people. And once I did that, I noticed that my audience started growing. And I get women, just because my demographic is a male, I still get women who are on my channel. I still get women who buy my guitar courses. It's just I'm catering my content to an older male audience, but you will hit other people as well. So just because you're focusing in on one person, don't think you're ignoring everyone else, but you really got to speak to that person.
And Andrew, you're really the same way when it comes to your parenting channel. One, you're speaking to dads, which was an underserved audience, I think, online. Maybe you can speak to this topic a little bit more too, for you knowing your exact audience, because you're a cool dad. I mean, let's be real, Andrew. You're a cool dad. You've got cool tech. I mean, when you look at your videos, I'm like, I'm sure dads want to be you. So what is it like for you to speak to your exact audience and really know who you're talking to?
Yeah, I appreciate. I tried to be a cool dad, but yeah. I mean, when I first started out, I remember like looking for reviews of strollers or just things that that you seek out as a parent. And I came across a lot of videos of moms who they provided good content, but they didn't do it in an efficient way that I would have done it. And I just wasn't finding that. And I knew that there was a whole plethora of guys out there, of dads out there who were seeking what I was seeking. So, I had the know-how and I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to set out to be that solution. And I knew what they wanted. They wanted precise, quick, with, lots of good detail and lots of pretty things to look at, because B-roll is, I emphasize B-roll, but I knew that those are the things that they wanted, and I tried to fill that void.
Yeah, and I think you did such an incredible job when I watch your videos. I'm not even a dad, and I don't even have babies, and I watch your videos because they're so good. Number 4, though, is probably one for me that hits home so much for a brand new content creator. And Andrew, you brought this one up, and it's really about not letting the numbers define you. Talk about maybe your experience with this and why you think it's important that as a new content creator starting a channel this year, that to not let the numbers be the thing that drive them.
I put so much emphasis in the numbers, in my subscriber count, in the retention rate, and everything. And truly, I looked so hard into that. And I thought that that's what I was because of that number, 14 views. That was like the number that always hit me. I worked so hard, like 10 hours on a video, and I got 14 views. I'm like, that's what I'm worth. I'm worth 14 views. And it took me a while to realize that it's actually not. Like you're creating content that helps people. And sometimes it's not going to have a mass effect, but it doesn't matter, because going back to the first point, you're learning all these things. You're learning how to write scripts. You're learning new techniques in lighting. You're learning all these things. So just because it's not hitting all these massive numbers, it doesn't matter, because you as a person are growing. You are getting better. You're getting stronger. And that's something that like the numbers can't tell you or can't tell people. And you want to, you see the actual number because you correlate that to success, but you got to look past that. You got to look past it and recognize that you are growing as a creator. And I like to equate things to basketball a lot. And like you can read a box score and see how many rebounds, assists, and whatever they got, but like that doesn't speak to who they are as a defensive player and how much hustle they have off the boards. And so there's so many things that go beyond the numbers. So it's only natural to look into that, but understand that as you grow as a creator, you're becoming more dynamic and learning so many more things. And little by little, you're getting better as a creator, even if the numbers are, what you perceive to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that just hits home. Especially, I love how you had just equated that to, players in basketball. And man, it really is. I look at it too, like when you plant a new plant, it doesn't, unless you are like me and you go to Home Depot and you actually buy a plant that's already like growing, but usually you've got to like put the seed in the soil, water the soil. You got to let sun hit the soil. It takes time. And that doesn't mean that the plant's not growing, but it's just that the numbers at the beginning shouldn't define you. It should really be about that output goal. How many videos are you putting on your channel? And speaking of videos, we are in the middle of our YouTube 1K challenge. And I want to make sure that you get all the details to the YouTube 1K challenge. Also, like this video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I want you to check this out real quick, and we'll get back into other tips for starting your YouTube channel.
This video is brought to you by tube1kchallenge.com. It's our free 5-day, highly interactive online event where I'm going to be sharing with you the exact steps that I took to start, grow, and scale my YouTube channel. From shooting videos in my bedroom,
this is, I guess, the first Sean Thinks vlog,
to generating over 150 million video views and ultimately building a multi-million-dollar home-based business. It's going to be fun. So save your spot by heading to tube1kchallenge.com, or you can just click the link in the description.
When icky noses are in need, try Puff's Ultra Soft for cushiony thickness that holds up better.
That getting too cool? Give them Temptations Creamy Puree.
All right, we're going to get into tip number 5, but if you're getting value out of this video already, please let me know in the comment section below what your aha moment is so far. And tip number 5 is good content trumps video quality. Lauren, tell me a little bit about this one, because this is the world I live in right now, because good content is king, right? So tell me a little bit about this and your journey in creating content.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a video, my most popular video on YouTube right now, I think has like 1.7 million views, and it was done with my phone. I recorded it with a phone. I didn't have a fancy camera. I didn't have the nice lighting and the nice microphone. It is dark. It is grainy. It is horrible in terms of like videography, but the content, again, this content was so good that my audience really resonated with it, and it gave them a big win, what I was going over in this guitar lesson. And I think people just started engaging on it. It was actually my first video that took off, and it took, just for you guys who are out there grinding, okay, this video didn't take off until 2.5 years after I had recorded it. So you just never know when a video is going to take off, but it proved to me, because it's horrible. This video, I'm embarrassed by the video. It's so bad video wise, but it didn't matter to the people who were watching the video. The content was awesome. I still get views and comments on that video all the time. So again, there's definitely videos out there now that are in HD quality. This is not. I think it's just standard quality. It's my phone, and people still love it. So focus on good quality content that gives a win, to your audience, or really helps solve a problem for your audience.
Man, so valuable. Oh my goodness. I feel this so much, because I love that too. You said you didn't even know that was the video that was going to be the one. And I have this one right now. It's almost embarrassing, really. It's on our Think Media channel. It's going viral right now. And I am like, grainy webcam. I'm literally like this close to the camera. It's so embarrassing, and it's
like the video you don't want to go viral goes viral, and or the video you're like, this one's gonna be the one, and it doesn't go anywhere, and you're like, I don't know.
Yes, it always seems to be that way, right? It's like the one that you put all the time and effort into is like wah wah, but the one that I see that on TikTok too. People say that all the time. They're like, I put so much time into this, and it's the one that they were like dancing with their daughter.
It's true. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, this next one, Andrew, you brought up, and it really is that that you need to truly be passionate about your niche, or it will show. Go ahead and talk about that a little bit, because I think this is important for people who are trying to figure out what their thing is and how critical it is to really latch on to a good thing.
Yeah. So I have, friends come up to me and like, hey, you're a YouTuber, like, what if I did this? And I'm like, well, why are you doing it? Is it just a one-off thing? You're like into it right now? Or do you actually truly love it? Because when you actually like love something, you're in on it, you can just talk forever about it. If you really, really like a movie, it's really easy for you to just be like, you should go watch this movie because blah, blah, and you can rattle off all the reasons why you like the movie. You go, right? But if it's something that you're just kind of like, I'm in it just to make money, I'm in it for, the wrong reasons. You hear that a lot in The Bachelor, right? Are you in it for the right reasons? Are you in it for the right reasons? Because if you're not, the content's going to slip, right? And so you want to really like love what you're doing. You want to wake up every morning, especially if you're trying to build this up to be your future. You want to love that future, right? So, really, like, don't just do it for the money or to make business or anything like that. Like, do it because you actually love it. You have a deep passion for the niche, and you can contribute valuable content for that niche.
And, really, Lauren, your story is just so amazing in the idea of really being passionate about guitar. I mean, you're really passionate about guitar. It's not something that you just kind of picked up on the side. I mean, you've self-taught yourself how to do this. And tell me why it's so important that you should really love your niche.
I think that's the thing that keeps you going through the grind. I mean, I will admit, I honestly almost quit twice on my YouTube channel because it's that grind. You're putting stuff, you're putting all this time and energy. Andrew was talking about being the jack of all trades. You're uploading videos, you're editing videos, you're doing the research. Like, it does, bring you down sometimes. I'm not going to say it's easy. YouTube is hard work, but it's totally worth it. And that passion is what's going to keep you pushing through. When I get messages from people, I get comments, from older learners who are in their 70s or 80s saying, like, this never made sense to me, but I watched your video and it finally clicked. That's what keeps you motivated to move forward. So I always tell people, like, find that why, find that passion, because in the beginning, you're not going to make a lot of money on YouTube. Eventually you will, but let the passion drive you, because that's what's going to get you through those low points and keep you pushing and uploading.
Yes, it will. It definitely will. There's going to be ups and downs on this journey. I mean, here's the thing. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. There's a reason why you guys made it to over 100,000 subscribers, got that silver play button, and are on your way to 1 million and then 10 million beyond that, if that's what's right, And I think this one, the point number 7, speaks so much about why YouTube is such a great place. And that is Lauren's point about building a community. If there's something I wish I knew getting started on YouTube, it would have been this first, right, Lauren?
iPhone 16e has a durable design and ceramic shield because the average person drops their phone 208 times a year. Make that 209 once they see the price. iPhone 16e, latest iPhone, greatest price.
A tasty take on a soft, bite-sized blondie. New Chips Ahoy Baked Bites.
Absolutely. And the ways you can do that is to have community groups, whether you use a Facebook group. I have a couple Facebook groups. I have a free one and a paid one. But also just commenting on your comments. I literally, even to this day, and I get messages from people, I literally respond to almost every single comment that I can on my channel, and I get emails from people or just even messages. People can't believe that I actually responded to their comment. So get to know your people. You're going to find that the same people comment over and over. And I did a live today, and some of those people popped on, and I was like, hey, I remember when you commented this on this video, and I remember when you did this on this video. People like to be recognized. And, even when I only had like 10,000 subscribers and I wasn't like a big YouTube person, people just really want to get to know you and they want to have that interaction with you. So, when you get your community tab, make sure to put polls and get interest from your audience. Just try to interact with them in as many ways as possible and make them feel like they're part of the process too.
That is great. And I love you two are both part of our Video Ranking Academy community. And before we got on the stream, I was like, have we actually met in person? Because I really honestly feel like I know you guys because of just the community, right? And just getting like-minded people around each other online. I mean, we have people that are watching right now that are from around the world that are a part of our community, but it's that one-to-one interaction, right? It's that time you get to spend with someone in the Facebook group or on a live show or whatever that looks like, meeting up at an event. It just becomes this, when we get to do it together, it makes it so much better. Don't you agree, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It does. It speaks volumes.
And number 8, Andrew, I loved this point. It was always be a scholar, not a student. Talk about this when it comes to building your YouTube channel, and what you wish you would have known is this.
So I always want to embrace the ideology of being a scholar and not a student. What is a student? Well, a student is a person who does the assignments, they go to class, they get the job done, and they learn what they need to, and then they stop. A scholar is someone who's always learning. They never stop learning, even when they reach the peak. They are on top of the world. There's still something to learn, still something to master, still a way to get better. And that's something that I always seek. And I feel like sometimes it's actually affected me sometimes where I feel like I've got like complacent with where I'm at. When I first started, like 2015, 16, there were like creators like Zach Calder and Casey Neistat, who, I tried to emulate them. I tried to emulate their styles, and I was able to like mimic that and learn what they did. And I was able to incorporate some of those techniques into my videography. And I felt like I was on a good path. Then as I started to kind of like see a little bit of growth in my channel, I'm like, okay, it seems like the formula is working. Okay. And then all of a sudden, like I felt like a weight hit me where I'm like, I'm not incorporating anything new with my B-roll. I'm not adding any fun things to like improve myself. The content's working, but like, what am I doing? I kind of got complacent. It's because I stopped becoming a scholar. I was a student. I felt like I got this. I'm doing okay, when I wasn't, and I should have been learning something new, whether it was, some video SEO or, working on better audio. There's always something to improve, and a student will always find a way to just be complacent, but a scholar will never stop improving.
Wow. I mean, aha moment like crazy, because that is such a valuable tip. The idea of always learning. And really, I feel like every level that you go, now you guys have both crossed the 100,000 subscriber mark, millions of views. You're learning new things, right? Every level of this journey just requires you to always be present and always be learning. Such a great tip. Number 9, though, I think it's us back to the nitty gritty of YouTube being YouTube, and that is that YouTube is a search engine. So number 9 is that keyword and content research is important. Tell us a little bit about that, Lauren.
Yeah, and again, going back to the beginning, I was just uploading videos because I was just uploading videos. I knew I needed to get like videos and content on this platform, but I didn't really know like exactly what to do. And then I learned a bit about, SEO, search engine optimization. I saw some people asking what that was in the chat, and just learning, what are the do's and don'ts? What does YouTube like? What does it not like? And what is your audience like too? And finding the best keywords to rank videos. Video Ranking Academy, it's all about ranking videos and getting a video to rank. That video that has 1.7 million views, 1.7 million views, it's ranking for something. It's showing people are typing in, how to learn beginner guitar chords, or what's the best beginner guitar chords, and this video is coming up and people are going and watching that. So you got to know what people are searching for on YouTube. That's important, because if you're doing a video on something that nobody's interested, nobody's going to watch it anyway. You're not going to get any views. So you got to know what content your audience wants, but you also have to make sure, that it's getting enough search volume so that, hey, if your video does get ranked, it's actually helping to grow your subscribership and grow your channel versus just kind of like sitting there.
Ooh.
Wow. Keyword research is all that we do here at Think Media. I mean, it's so critical to every single video that you do. And I love that inside of our YouTube 1K challenge, we taught them about the ASQ method, answering specific questions. And when you're doing keyword research, it is all about making sure that you are answering specific questions. What are people typing into the YouTube search bar? Well, this last tip is probably for all of the people who have a little bit of self-doubt. Maybe you're watching right now and you have wanted to press record, but you haven't gotten there yet. And this was Andrew's tip, and it's the worst kind of person is the procrastinating perfectionist. I'll raise my hand too, because this is what I struggle with a lot. Andrew, tell us a lot why this is what you chose for number 10 and how you've struggled with this probably a little bit as well.
This was me. I was the procrastinating perfection. I had to, before I uploaded my first videos, I had to get the right camera and get it the right setup and get the right lighting, and it's got to be perfect and drop money, and what's the best gear. And you don't know how many times I've looked up YouTube studio setups, and there are so many cool YouTube studio setups, and I'm change it, angle this, and it's just it had to get perfect, and it's I wasn't uploading anything, I wasn't doing anything. So it's because I had to be that perfectionist, and it was just delayed the upload time and delayed. It's just I wasn't getting anywhere. Whereas if I just got it to be good enough, and I'm and just upload it, and then all right, learn from that. let's move on to the next one, and then like improve off of that, and just upload, and just do it. Just get in the habit of doing that, because if you're just waiting for perfection, it's just not going to happen. So just press record and just start making. It's never going to be perfect, guys. It's never going to be perfect. Every video that I've made on my channel, I can pinpoint multiple things where it was just something was off. The color grade was terrible. Didn't work. Didn't like the edit. There were times where like it just rendered weird, and like there's a frame that was missing and it just went black. I'm like, whatever. And there's going to be issues, guys. And I struggle with it all the time, because like it has to be perfect. And to this day, like I still feel like I'm uploading slow. And it's because like everything's got to be on point, when really like the content can provide value, whether it's perfect or not. Like they said it before, some of those videos that popped were ones that they were just like, I didn't look the best, and I had no clue, but it popped. So just get it to a point that's like good enough, learn from that, and just go. Do not be that procrastinating perfectionist, because it'll cost you.
Woo! I mean, fire on number 10 right there, and speaking to me so much, because even before this, Andrew, I was like, does my hair look right? Did I put enough contour on? Like, all the things, and it just doesn't matter. People just want you, and that actually is the bonus tip, and I want all of us to speak on this, and that is to just be yourself. When you're starting on YouTube, yes, it's about the technical sides of it. Yes, it's about making sure you're making good videos. Yes, it's about always being a student, but really it comes down to putting your personality on camera and just being yourself. And that's really what people want, right, Lauren?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what attracts someone to you versus someone else? What attracts someone to me as a guitar teacher, versus someone else that's a guitar teacher? It's me, it's my personality, it's my energy, how I describe things. And that's a great thing. You want to connect to people and be you. And I think, for me, when I first started on video, I was so worried about like what everyone else was doing, that I wasn't really being myself. But after I did like maybe 30, 40 videos, more of my personality started coming out, and I was able to be more natural on camera, because you do. Yeah. Oh my God, is my hair right? I look stupid holding the guitar that way. But, you got to get out of your head and just be authentically you, because that's what's going to attract your tribe. You have to be you. You can't be anyone else.
And I'm seeing like, go ahead, Andrew.
Just one last thing is, if it's not apparent, between the three of us, my video quality is by far the worst. I don't have a nice big fat Yeti microphone in front of me, right? It's the worst. But the people watching this video, are you still getting good value? Are you still getting the same good value?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I hope so.
Maybe. I think it's like, maybe.
Maybe. Yes? I don't know.
I love it. And I love, Lauren, your personality is even coming through, like you said, with the cool car. We have people shouting out the Ninja Turtles that are in the back.
I mean, if the chat is any indicator, it's like, that's why I put the Ninja Turtles in the car there, because people see that. And you like the Ninja, or my Dungeons and Dragons shirt. Like people do see my t-shirts, and because I usually wear like Marvel t-shirts, and I get comments all the time. I love your Zelda t-shirt. And I'm like, it's a guitar lesson, but people are focused. So this is it. This is my personality. It is the guitar. I love classic cars. I'm a Ninja Turtle person. Like, that's me. And someone else who likes Ninja Turtles might see that and be like, oh my gosh, she loves the Ninja Turtles. And you never know. That might make them subscribe to my channel versus someone else. You never know.
Yeah. And, we see that all the time, even like the be yourself of just even me having to get comfortable being on camera and just being myself, and just knowing that it's okay if, I gained 5 pounds. It's okay if my hair is not right. It's okay if I fumbled over my words and I, messed up a little bit because I was thinking about the next thing I needed to say. It's okay if those things happen. That's part of being on YouTube and just getting to be in community and getting to be with people. But here's the main thing. You got to start. Right? If you haven't started yet, you have to start, because all of us, you see how confident Andrew and Lauren are right now. This has taken years to build to this confidence level, to be able to just come on live and answer questions. So I just want to applaud you guys. And we have so many people. Let me know in the comments right now, if you're watching live or on the replay, have you started already? Have you already started your YouTube channel? And I would love for both of you guys to just give maybe a word of wisdom, a word of advice, some encouragement for the person right right now who's on the fence of getting started. Maybe they're on the fence of if they should even do this YouTube thing, or they've posted some videos and it's not really working. What encouragement do you have for that person, Andrew?
Man, just like what Lauren said earlier, like if you're grounded in a purpose and you're grounded in like a passion for your niche, let that drive through. Like just keep. I mean, it's fun that we get to create this kind of content, and it's only natural for you to feel down at times. It's just, I almost quit twice too. It was just fun to hear that from Lauren because it grinds on you. But if you just understand that like it will work, your persistence will pay off. It will. Just grind through it. Let that passion for your niche continue to help you, drive you, and catapult you, and do the right amount of research and find that one video that you just feel passionate about. Like I love that I get to create content for new, like even if it's like, I know the video's not going to perform well, but like it's so fun that I am the one who gets to make that content for them. Like it's amazing, and I'm the one who gets to find strollers and baby monitors. If you don't know, that's the stuff that I review, and I love it. Like I get to be that voice. Like you are a voice. Know that voice can be so powerful to people. Even if you don't feel like that voice is doing anything, it can. You just got to keep on going through and keep on persevering. It will pay off. I've been doing this 5 years. It's 5 years of work. And I'm not going to say it's been easy, but it has paid off. It's wonderful. Like,
Maybe we should get another one.
You want to get 2 more?
Get 7 days of big deals. It's Target Circle Week. ¿Sabías que el 80% de las mujeres luchan contra el pelo dañado? Acondicionador Miracle Rescue de Pantene, con perlas pro vitaminas, repara 6 meses de daño en un solo uso. Garantizado o te devuelven tu dinero. El que sabe, sabe. El Pantene.
This right now, like this is amazing. It's amazing. It's in your grasp, guys. You just work for it. Like it's there. It's there.
Oh man, so inspiring. And you're so right. It's YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint, right? I mean, both of you guys have been working so hard. And Lauren, I'd love to hear your encouragement for the new subscriber. I saw people in here. I'm just getting started. 1 video up, haven't started yet. So what encouragement do you have for the people right now that are watching who just need to hear from another person that gets it? You know what I mean? We get this thing. And so what encouragement do you have for that person?
Absolutely. The first video I uploaded, my first guitar lesson, I uploaded April 17th, 2017, and I got 1 view. I think that 1 view was me checking to make sure I uploaded the video. So when I know what it's like to be, to upload a video and you're your only view. I've been there, I've done that. And like Andrew was saying, I almost quit twice myself. And both times when I was thinking about quitting, I said, why did I start this YouTube channel? Why am I doing this? And I focused more on the impact I wanted to make on the world. And I said, if I'm helping 100 people a day, then I am making the difference in 100 people's lives a day. I know that's not a lot, but I'm going to start there and I'm going to grow from there. And I think you just really need to focus on what you want to do with the world. I had a business coach who told me, Lauren, you have a unique story. Like Andrew was saying, we all have a voice and we all have a unique backstory. I don't have a degree in music. Most of the guitar teachers on YouTube probably have degrees in music. I don't. So I have a very different style of teaching than a lot of those people. And if I didn't get the courage to do this and start uploading videos, these people would never have that other side of the story. And there would have been, at this point, millions of people who would have not been influenced by my teaching. So I really think it's important that you understand that you are unique and you have something special to offer the world. And if you've only uploaded 10 videos, upload 10 more. Okay, if you've uploaded 20, upload 20 more. keep doing it. Keep grinding it out. Like Andrew said, it's totally worth it. A couple weeks ago, I went to Iceland for 10 days and I scheduled out my videos. And by the time I got back from Iceland, I had completely paid for my vacation just for my YouTube channel. And that's amazing. So it's totally possible for YouTube to absolutely change your life. It has completely changed my life, and you can do it. You can get there, but you got to start by uploading those videos and sticking with it.
I mean, no better way to end today's episode. Thank you so much, Lauren. If you want to connect with Lauren or Andrew, I've linked all of their details in the description below. And if you have not already signed up for our YouTube 1K challenge, then that is your next step. So check out this info if you need to know a little bit more about it right now.
This video is brought to you by tube1kchallenge.com. It's our free 5-day, highly interactive online event where I'm going to be sharing with you the exact steps that I took to start, grow, and scale my YouTube channel. From shooting videos in my bedroom,
This is, I guess, the first Sean Thinks vlog,
to generating over 150 million video views, and ultimately building a multi-million-dollar home-based business. It's going to be fun. So save your spot by heading to tube1kchallenge.com, or you can just click the link in the description.
You ever bought Reese's while eating Reese's? That is some boss behavior. Hurt in a wreck? Moment as you're back with nothing up front.
Creators have to realize this FTC is coming for creators. According to the FTC, you need to disclose so extensively. Make sure, right, if it's on YouTube, toggle the paid promotions button. You need to.
And in this episode of the Think Media Podcast, we're going to be talking about the legal side of YouTube. We're going to be talking about some things that every creator needs to know so that they don't get sued and don't get in trouble.
This is the beauty and nightmare of living in the US, right? You can sue and be sued by anyone. So if you don't have an LLC up that veils, that protects you, then your personal assets might get touched.
What do creators need to know about brand deals?
So usage means that brands can use it however they want. I think usage rights is really important for creators to understand.
What are the most important legal agreements or contracts that YouTubers should have in place if they're starting out? Your YouTube channel might be at risk. And in this episode of the Think Media Podcast, we're going to be talking about the legal side of YouTube. We're going to be talking about some things that every creator needs to know so that they don't get sued and don't get in trouble, and some of the biggest legal mistakes creators make. But we're going to be kicking it off with also some of just the fundamentals to make sure that your YouTube channel, your online business, and your personal brand is in order right up front. Our guest today is Tyler Chow, back on the podcast. She's the creator's attorney. And Tyler, how do you introduce yourself at parties?
Thanks for that question, Sean. I'm so excited to be on again. Our last conversation was so fun, and it's really good to see that people really responded well to it. So this is how I introduce myself. I am the creator's attorney. My life's mission is to protect creators and bring them to 7-figure businesses. I've been an attorney in Hollywood for the last 16 years, and I started my own YouTube channel 2 years ago. And then I fell in love with the space and realized that a lot of creators are being taken advantage of and don't know what they don't know. And so it's really my goal to educate and protect creators. And our conversation, I think, hopefully does that.
Well, I'm excited to dive into some juicy topics. You know, some of the things creators get stuck on is maybe FTC guidelines and disclosures and affiliate marketing. Sometimes they can get in trouble with brands, and creators are getting scammed by brands a lot too, like maybe fake brands that are sliding into their DMs and their email inbox. But I actually just want to start off at a high level based on some questions from our past episode on the business of content creation. Mm-hmm. And so what are the most important legal agreements or contracts that YouTubers should have in place if they're starting out?
Well, I think we touched upon this in the last conversation. I think doing an LLC, I think employment agreements are really important. So if you have anyone working for you, whether they be editors, producers, script writers, anything that is creating content for you, I think they need to be under those contracts. I think some NDAs are helpful, right? If you want to send cease and desist to people who might be sharing confidential information that they learn while working with you or even just talking to you, right? Like maybe you want to partner with somebody or start a channel with somebody and you share information and ideas or about your channel or products or anything. I think NDAs are really important. I think, those are kind of just high level what they need. We talked about what do creators need? They need to pay their taxes. They need to have general liability insurance, defamation insurance. And I think trademarks are really important. I mean, it's not a contract, but it is a legal protection because as we see the future flood of creators who are going to come in, when you look at all the laid off tech people, you look at traditional Hollywood where there's less and less TV and film now. I'm sure you've heard it. People are like wanting to come into the creator space to create content because I think that's the American dream where else do you get to make a video where millions of people will see it, right? That's YouTube.
The dream is real, and the creator economy is estimated to grow and double even in the next couple of years. And you're referencing part one of our conversation, which I'll link to in the show notes, and I encourage listeners to check that out after this episode. But when it comes to contractors, let's say you hired somebody on Upwork. Probably one of the most common things is somebody jumps on an online Fiverr.com. Do you think you're liable or vulnerable if you just outsource some editing or thumbnail design to someone on Fiverr and you don't have a contract with them?
That's a great question. I have not looked at the terms of service for Fiverr or Upwork. I would hope that they have some type of language in there, but I don't know, right? I think it is so much better to have a template, and I am actually selling. I mean, based off of our last conversation, so many people reached out to me that now I didn't before, but I will start selling a shorter template, right? Versus the kind of full length ones that I do for my clients where you can just have them sign. It's a short one where it says everything you do for me is owned by me. Because what you don't want is for them to have your content that they're either editing for you or filming for you, and they say, well, I own that because for whatever reason, they believe so. And if you don't have a piece of paper that says otherwise, then I think that leaves you exposed.
Yeah, that's super smart. And we'll link to your resources in the description down below. And I just think about these types of investments are just critical because it might seem up front like, this is that. This is all the details. I just want to make videos, but protecting yourself is huge. And reference episode number 1 to check out. You mentioned, maybe you don't have to start an LLC day one, but didn't you say maybe if you're earning $1,000 or $2,000 a month consistently, and you're maybe hiring a video editor or somebody that you really want to start having this stuff in order?
Well, I actually wanted to clarify that. I actually just meant $1,000 or $2,000 a year, because I think that's how much it costs to set up I mean, it's even less than that, right? It's probably a few $100s to set up an LLC. I think here's the threshold. If you own your house, if you own a 401k, if you own any assets that you don't want to be touched during a litigation or someone who's suing you, let's say you do a brand deal and they get sick, let's say it's a supplement. I'm making this up, right? Like it's a supplement, they get sick, they're going to sue you, they're going to sue the brand. If you don't have an LLC up that veils, that protects you, then your personal assets might get touched. And here's the thing, you will say, well, how could I get sued? This is the beauty and nightmare living in the US, right? You can sue and be sued by anyone. And once you get sued, you have to hire an attorney to defend you in that litigation. And I have a client right now who did nothing wrong, who was just a simple employee. He's paid over $100,000 trying to defend himself, trying to get out of this lawsuit. And he's had to file bankruptcy because he has no money left. But he still has to keep borrowing money basically to try to defend himself. Because if you don't defend yourself, then a default judgment gets entered against you, and that follows you for life. Every job that you go to they will take that paycheck. So it's something you can't just get sued and say, well, I'm just not going to defend myself. which I think a lot of people might think, well, I had nothing to do with it. Once you're named in a complaint, you have to answer and you have to defend yourself.
And so LLC stands for limited liability company. If you have one, then like worst case scenario, your LLC goes bankrupt. Worst case scenario, that protection is crushed, but your assets, your house, your cars are not touched, correct?
iPhone 16e has the best battery life for an iPhone this size, so nothing's stopping you from getting the high score, except the stairs, benches, and rails. iPhone 16e, latest iPhone, greatest price.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes of Gatorade with zero sugar to rehydrate and replenish. So your return is as good as your service.
Yes, and whatever, money you might have in your bank checking account for the business, that, whatever assets the business owns might be touched. So if you have a lot of equipment, I mean, look, most of us don't have, maybe not you. I think you're different, but I don't own, I probably own a couple $1,000s worth of equipment, right? And that might be touched, but that's really it, whatever the business owns.
Which, as a side note, at a much lower legal level, I know my wife, who's our CFO, has been so helpful on handling a lot of the details of our business. It's funny to say CFO too, like, because we're some small town kids. I'm the CEO. We were just talking about today, like, whatever. We're just trying to figure this thing out. But there was some stuff we did, at least early on. This isn't legal protection, but if you do have a lot of equipment you're investing in, you want to list that on maybe your homeowner's insurance.
Yes.
And if we're up to, or renter's insurance, most probably don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but over time it's easy to have $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a year. And that's just kind of a tip to be thoughtful. If you have serial numbers, photos, some things like that of the stuff that you have, again, that just might be some protection. Okay. So different legal agreements that they could get in place. What about intellectual property? As content creators are thinking about A, what they're saying in their videos themselves. B, maybe they put what they know into an online course. They write a book. And then C, maybe they try to create some original characters or whatnot. And I've heard a big debate in this arena that, like, it's kind of hard to defend IP of your ideas at some point. But what are your thoughts on this?
So ideas are not protected. You are correct. However, did you know that every time we put a video up on YouTube, it is automatically copyrighted? You don't have to go to the copyright office, and you can, by the way, you can, but no one will really do that unless you do a movie that's an hour long and you think this could be pirated or I need to protect this. You could officially go to the copyright office and get it copyrighted. But every time we put out our videos on YouTube, it is automatically protected. So anything you put in a tangible form, whether it be a book, a video, a song that's broadcasted, those are protected. But an idea, you're right. Like you and I talking about an idea, that's not protected. So for the things that you've mentioned, I think names, mottos, sayings, there are things about a business that you could protect through a trademark or a patent, if it's something that is protectable by a patent.
You made a video too about a saying, and you suggested there was a creator that actually should trademark her saying because it started to be used as a meme. Do you remember that story?
Yes, the very demure, very mindful. So I got into a fight with another lawyer on LinkedIn because he said, well, that's just a fleeting, fancy. You don't need to protect that. Anybody could have said that and anybody could have made it blow up like that. And I disagree because I think Jules is a certain type of creator who a lot of people respect and like. And I think because she said that saying, it became very viral. And I believe, so the story, in case people don't know, some third party unrelated to the original creator went and basically stole it and went to trademark it. And wow. I thought that was incredibly wrong because this person is just a bad actor. I say lazy, right? You're just stealing people's trending saying. And I really urge Jules and her team to go trademark it, because I think once you have that, you are more valuable. I always want my clients, my creator clients, to think about themselves as a business and think about an exit in mind. Most creators probably won't make content for the rest of their lives. They like it, but as you know, after 5 years, 10 years, it really, it can be a recipe for burnout if you're only relying on AdSense and brand deals. If you have your own business, you launch your own products, then you have more control over it. But I think a lot of buyers, like private equity funds who want to buy channels or buy businesses that creators create, they like to look at your IP. What if you trademark? What do you own? And having a portfolio of trademarks makes your business just so much more valuable.
I love that mindset. Before we go on to the next category, I'm curious, for those listening that want to think of this as a long-term business and want to be smart, and listening to this podcast, of course, an hour of legal advice is $1,000 plus. So this podcast is, super, super valuable to think about. And of course, this is also not official advice. This
is not legal advice. Yes,
I have. Legal advice. It is general,
yes.
But priceless nonetheless. Out of your clients, of course, leaving them anonymous, what are the issues? Like, where are they failing? What are the things that if they would have done it differently, they wouldn't be in the trouble they are with now? And we get the price of advice of maybe learning from their mistakes. Do you want to get your first or next 1,000 subscribers on YouTube faster? For the first time ever, we are hosting a free one-day event at videogrowthday.com. During this one-day online event, you will learn our step-by-step YouTube success system for getting views, subscribers, and making money. You'll get to connect with the Think Media team and be a part of community, conversation, and a bunch of cool giveaways. And you'll leave with your personalized YouTube game plan for success. So to register, just go to videogrowthday.com or click the link in the show notes. Now, let's jump back into the episode.
What a great question. One of the biggest things that I'm doing is unwinding partnership.
The shade that serves your skin. New Venus Moisture Glide. Bars with argan oil. Lock moisture in.
Being partnership situations. You start a YouTube channel with your best friend. A few years later, you have a falling out. You want to exit somebody out of the channel. So who owns the channel? Most of the time, there isn't a contract in place, and that becomes a problem. Then it becomes a race to, well, who has control of the YouTube channel? Who can, block out access? I don't want that to happen. Just have a partnership agreement from day one. Agree that you both own 50% of the channel. Agree that if someone no longer wants to do it, they can buy the other person out, or there just has to be some exit strategy as to what happens when you want to wind the channel down, or if you want to stay on and somebody else wants to leave, or if you want to take a different direction. What happens when you have a dispute and you're 50-50? Do you bring in a third party to help you resolve that? I mean, these are mechanisms that I can put in place in a partnership agreement. I'm unwinding a lot of these predatory agreements out there where these companies are giving loans to creators. I don't know if you know about these, Sean, but they're loans with really, really loan shark-like terms. They have to keep making content at a certain pace. And if they don't, then these companies threaten to take their channels away. They go talk to brands that they're working with to badmouth them. I mean, this is a very dark, I'm probably going to make a whole video about this, but it's a very dark thing that's happening to a lot of creators right now. And I'm really worried and angry about it. And I'm really debating if I want to call these companies out on LinkedIn and just kind of openly say, stop doing this. But I'm on the fence about it.
Would you not say a name of a company here?
No, I would not.
What
but
are if you're macro,
I'm sorry.
What are like the terms? So then what are maybe like, so what they're doing is they're giving you a loan, but then in the fine print too, they've got some stuff that's maybe like, and if you don't, we get your channel, or if you don't,
yes.
And then then we have maybe high interest kind of things and stuff.
It's the termination. there was one client where he got $100,000. 50% of it was taken away in taxes because of the way they
Structured it.
they structured it.
Jeez.
And it was a $50,000 termination fee. And my client was almost on the verge of a nervous breakdown by the time he came to me. And I went to battle against this company. And I said, and they took more money than they should have. They took it from his brand deals. And so I said, let's go to court. I would love to get you in front of a judge. And I actually was able to get my client out of that deal without paying a dime because I said, I didn't threaten them. I just said, let's go in front of a judge and let's talk about all the money you've taken. Let's talk about how fair this is. And my client, I've had a lot of creator clients cry to me, and I'm so grateful that I can make such a deep difference in their lives because sometimes they have no idea what to do. Like when they lose their channels or when they get demonetized or copyright strikes. The fact that I can sometimes help is really, really meaningful, and it makes a world of difference for me.
Man, this is so good. So be very careful about going into partnerships in business and in YouTube channels, and sit down with somebody to get a partnership agreement from day one. Avoid predatory loans and be really thoughtful there. And so those are such good pieces of advice. I want to talk about influencer marketing and FTC guidelines. Of course, anybody listening to this, even if they're just starting and even if they post a video on YouTube or anywhere on social media, we've all seen it where maybe you're supposed to say hashtag ad, and do you give a verbal disclosure? But if we dig in, I mean, a couple stories. Back in 2019, there was the landmark case where YouTube was fined for violating COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and that was an FTC thing ultimately, and that shifted things a lot. We had in 2022, the Kardashians were warned for failing to properly disclose paid partnerships on social media. And in 2023, the FTC updated its endorsement guides to clarify disclosure requirements for influencers, emphasizing clear and conspicuous disclosure of any material connection to brands. At a high level, what do you think the mistakes or what do creators need to know about affiliate marketing, brand deals, disclosures, and maybe where they could get into trouble here?
So there was a third bucket that I forgot to mention from the last question, which is something else I'm really working on with creators is equity deals. I think if you're a high level creator who is doing 5 to 6 figure brand deals, you should be asking for equity. And so I just wanted to highlight that because a lot of creators, I will say this to them, huge creators, and they will say, oh, I had no idea I could be asking for equity. But I think Alex Earl taking equity in Poppy, Joe Rogan taking equity in Carnivore Snacks, and of course there's 50 Cent who took equity in Vitamin Water and had a very nice exit. I think I just want to put that on the map for creators at least.
So to be clear, that's kind of also, rather than like a mistake to avoid a bad partnership, it's a mistake to just take 5 figures for a brand deal instead of thinking about equity, because you might be getting the short end of the deal. And creators, this is probably at least for mid-sized creators, would you say?
Probably,
5 figures is going to be 10,000, or 5 figures you're doing $50,000 deals.
Probably on the higher end. However, if you and this is something I truly believe in, you don't have to be a huge creator to have a huge impact, right? I know you agree with this. There are small creators out there who are such experts in their space. Like this morning, I spoke to a tennis creator. She's not a huge creator, but she has such deep impact with tennis brands, and so she might have, let's say she has 10,000. I don't know, actually 10,000 on YouTube, but her impact, and she has gotten equity. So my point is, don't necessarily tie what I just said to, I shouldn't think about this. No, you should be thinking about it from day one. If you're an expert who's just starting their YouTube channel, but you are a doctor or a lawyer or a mechanic or an engineer who can give advice to these startups who are starting, then you can ask for equity from day one. Don't just think because I have a small channel or I haven't been doing brand deals. Think about your position and your value to the company coming to you, wanting to work with you. If you're like my client, the tennis creator, she's a small creator, but she has so much value because she's been a tennis player for 20 years. So like, think about it that way, right? Like, what is the value you're giving to the company? Don't think I shouldn't ask for this. Ask for everything. All they can do is say no. But I think you should be thinking about equity way sooner than most creators are thinking about it.
Hello, handsome. And hello, random chair. Clean up with Apple Intelligence means goodbye, chair. iPhone 16e. Latest iPhone, greatest price.
Signature seasoning and buttery flavor in every twist. Dots, sensationally seasoned pretzels.
If we go a little bit deeper on that, we'll come back to the disclosures. I think, like, this kind of makes me think of also UGC creators and just the idea that user-generated content is a whole niche in and of itself. And you, the person, your ability to create videos, the way you look, the way you sound, your charisma, your history, and what you're saying too, your expertise. You might be day one on YouTube or social. You might have 1,000 subscribers, you're growing that up, but your depth and your expertise, what would it cost for that brand to hire you? If they hired you, they'd probably give you a 6-figure salary if you went and worked for them full time as a face, as a voice, with that level of authority. So now a small YouTube channel is worth way over 6 figures, depending on your background. And in that case, now you're able to maybe negotiate from a different perspective. Am I thinking correctly?
Totally, because we're seeing more professionals starting YouTube channels, right, who have an expertise in something. So I think I love that example you gave. Think of it as 6 figures. I tell my clients when they're about to accept equity deals that it should be cash plus equity. And the cash is basically the services you're providing. If they're asking you for 5 to 10 hours a month, equate that to what is your hourly rate. If they're wanting your expertise, if they're wanting you to, go talk to people in the tennis space or go talk to, this manufacturer or give us advice on, as a tennis expert, like how would you figure out X, Y, and Z? This is something that they do not have information. And then you typically would pay a consultant, right? Companies pay consultants all the time for their expertise. So think of yourself as a consultant to the company and what would you ask in that sense? So I think sometimes asking $2,000 to $5,000 a month for your expertise, depending on your level, plus equity is very fair.
If we stay on brand deals, at what point do you think it's essential to get an attorney involved? And one of your passions is helping creators earn more money. And is it your belief that most creators could also just charge more besides just equity if they understood things better or maybe had a second opinion, an outside perspective like yours?
Totally. I have a client on LinkedIn who's huge. And when I first met him, he was making probably 2 to 3 times less. And I asked him, I said, how much are you asking for your post on LinkedIn? And he said something less than 4 figures. And I said to him, you should be making 4 to 5 figures. And because of that one advice from me, he started asking for more. I think most creators just don't ask for enough money. They think, oh my goodness, someone wants to give me $500 for a video. Amazing. If you ask the brand what their budget was and how many creators are in the campaign, those 2 questions could probably help you figure out how much you should ask for. When I step into a deal, I usually 2 to 4x the original offer because I asked a bunch of questions. And I have no problem asking for more money for my clients. Now, a lot of us have trouble asking for more money for ourselves. I don't know what psychological block there is. We just feel like we're not worthy or entitled to that. I have no trouble. If someone offers you 10,000, I could say 50,000. Like, I have no trouble doing that. So if you have a manager or an attorney who can do that for you, I think that would be very helpful to just get you away from that lower, current price that you have yourself set at.
I bet 99% of creators can relate to that, including myself. I think on the one hand, I intrinsically know my value, but yet I still hedge a little bit. And that's partly the power of the third person, is just to kind of represent you and not flinch, like not kind of waffle around a little bit. So I'm like, oh, and the creator in me is also, yeah, like still hustling, still kind of maybe sometimes thinking small. You just get somebody that's objectively more disconnected from it with expertise like yourself, and it's pretty wild to think that from a little bit of difference in negotiation that you could just instantly start charging 2 to 3 times more per brand deal, no matter what size of creator you are, simply because of understanding your value. Is there things that happen that you notice where brands essentially how creators could avoid getting screwed over by brands because of contracts or terms or things that have happened to your clients?
I think most creators, especially younger ones, newer ones don't understand usage rights or, just white whitelisting, boosting, things that are in addition. They just think, oh, I'm just giving you a video, but you don't realize what the brand takes your video and does with it. And a lot of times that part the creator gets screwed on because they say, okay, here's $1,000, and then the brand ends up using it. They don't even realize that you can ask for usage. Usage is 10 to 30% of the base price for every 30 days. If they want control of your channel or they want to put paid ads behind you, that's something you should ask for more money. And I think a lot of creators don't even understand what those are. And sometimes brands or the agencies that they hire to manage the campaign sometimes will not pay creators. That's also something I deal with a lot for big creators is 6-figure brand deals not getting paid. Typically the brand will pay, but they will pay the agency, and then the agency holds on to it and doesn't pay because for whatever reason, right? Bad management, but they will do this terrible Ponzi pyramid where they will pay a creator from their last paycheck, even though it wasn't the paycheck for that creator. Right. And it's a bad trickle down effect. So, and I've known a lot of creators who are not paid and it's $500 or $1,000 or $2,000. And they think, well, what's the point? It's going to cost me that much to hire an attorney anyway. I would say that, it costs me not that much of my time to send a letter out for a lot of creators. I've done that. I've done just a one-time demand letter and they typically pay. Sometimes they don't pay the full price, but at least you're getting something because their sob story will be, well, we're going under or we're struggling, but here's 50%. And that's better than nothing.
Subway's $6.99 for literally any foot-long deal is headed to overtime. Fresh sliced deli meat, fresh crispy veggies. Too much good stuff. Order now in the Subway app. Use code 699FL now. Deals only here until April 2nd.
It's interesting because I think creators listening to this might not realize how common it is that maybe you could struggle getting paid from brands, them paying. It could be bad management. And we've learned too that good brands that usually typically end up paying, sometimes 3 months passes, 6 months passes. Sometimes it's taken a year to actually get payment. There's like a French Montana and Drake song that says, hopping out the jet, Lears. Don't call me till the check clears. And one of the things I've learned is that until the check clears, you don't have the money. Like until you got the money in your bank account, you don't have the money in your bank account. And that's very hard for creator businesses that depend on, I got this great brand deal. It might be tough if you're cash strapped though for a year. And so having diversity.
Totally.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it makes me so mad because you can't go to Best Buy and buy a TV and say, I'm going to pay you in 90 days and take the TV out. It just doesn't work that way. But yet creators are being asked to basically cash flow, the company sometimes for, like you said, 3, 6, 12 months. And I used to work in Hollywood, Disney, Skydance, BuzzFeed, and actors don't fly until the money is in escrow at the agencies, right? They will not get on an airplane to go on location unless that money is there. And so that is something that I would love to be able to do for creators, but that's a whole other thing that, us taking on that, or even do creators join SAG. I mean, that could be another conversation altogether. But I think there's a lot of things that need to change, and procedures need to be there. I think having advocates, I mean, I'm one person, but I do think me shouting very loudly at companies and does change their policy. There was one agency out there that was just not paying creators, and I called them out. I did call them out on LinkedIn because someone else called them out, but I was doing a deal with them currently at that moment with a big creator, and I said, if you don't pay, and actually because of what happened, I was able to ask for 50% upfront upon signature before we even started work, because I have sort of that leverage, and I can shout very loudly, and I know kind of, people in the industry that you can't do this to creators. And I'm on that soapbox, shouting for creators who can't do it themselves.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. StreamYard is our go-to platform here at Think Media for live streaming to Facebook and YouTube, and for recording our video podcast. It has an incredibly easy-to-use interface for built-in branding, transitions, text lower thirds, and seamlessly bringing on guests. And they just added an awesome new feature called local recording. This allows you to take the quality to another level by separating out your audio and video from your guests, giving you more control over your content for later use. This feature is perfect for video and podcast creators. And so to get a special deal on StreamYard right now and to see all the features that are included, just go to streamwiththink.com. That is streamwiththink.com. I want to go back to also usage rights to clarify. What creators don't realize is that they might do a brand deal, they get $1,000, they post a video, but in the contract, that brand took usage rights, and now they're running paid ads using your likeness and your media, and they're doing it for the next 5 years.
Or forever, Sean, right?
Forever. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you, because young creators definitely know this, including myself, and you also don't even realize who you may become. Whatever, so you're a new creator, you're like, I just need $1,000. You can't even imagine that someday you might have a silver play button or beyond, and what might, your influence be. Let me ask you this. So if you did one of those brand deals, and then can you ever get out of it? Like if you signed away usage rights and they're still using it, you're like, okay, it's 7 years later. My prominence is, bigger. I'm more established, and yet they're still running ads on my likeness, and maybe their product has even gone downhill. You're like, it's been so long. It was great then, and now it's different. Times have changed, but they're still just kind of milking your likeness. What's your advice here?
Or that the brand is so big now that they should be paying you. I have certainly gone back to brands and companies and renegotiated those deals, and I have been successful because they know what they did was wrong, and they know that what they did was taking advantage. And I just say to them, this is taking advantage. Do you know that story of that actor Simu, who he was on he's one of the actors, on the he was the dragon, in the Marvel, the Asian Marvel movie, and when he was starting out as an actor, he was an extra, and he did this short little commercial as like corporate guy number 3 or something. And so now that company owns that stock footage and uses it everywhere, and he tried to go back and buy the stock footage back, but because he gave in perpetuity rights, he couldn't buy it back, and they were not incentivized to sell it back to him. So now they use that to run advertising, and he's a huge star now. He's a Marvel actor. That's to your point. When you're starting out as a creator, you don't think about it. But what happens in a few years if you have 1 million subscribers and you're doing big brand deals, and there's this thing floating out there, and that brand is so usage means that they can run it on their own channels, on their own websites. They can use it to basically run campaigns however they want, and it's something that I think usage rights is really important for creators to understand.
Man, that's really interesting. I do want to close the loop on on the influencer marketing FTC guidelines.
Yes.
So
Let's talk about that.
disclosures, and again, I think the Kardashians were just warned, and
Actually, they were fined, Sean.
Oh, they were, okay.
He was fined, yeah. It was like 6 figures because they wanted to make an example of her. It was a crypto campaign.
Okay, and that might have. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they failed to disclose they've been paid to promote cryptocurrency investment schemes. They ended up being fined.
Yes.
So, what's your advice here?
Disclose.
iPhone 16e has the best battery life for an iPhone this size, so nothing's stopping you from getting the high score, except the stairs, benches, and rails. iPhone 16e, latest iPhone, greatest price.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade, is it in you?
Disclose so extensively. There are 3 ways you should, according to the FTC. You need to make sure, right, if it's on YouTube, toggle the paid promotions button. You need to say it out loud, right? This video is sponsored by X, Y, and Z. You need to have it on screen somewhere or in the descriptions. I actually maybe 4 different ways. Like as many ways as you can disclose that you're being paid for this sponsorship, this review. What the FTC wants to be so careful about is they want the consumer, right, the viewers who are watching it, to understand that you, Sean, if you're talking about a product but you were paid for it, that's maybe going to give you a different type of review than if you were to say, I bought this with my own money. How often have you guys bought camera or whatever and you said, we bought this because we wanted to give a neutral, our neutral opinion?
And it's a leveraged point because most people, I think there's mistrust. Or you want there to be transparency, but what level of trust can you have when you're like, and I think what a lot of people say is they say, listen, I can totally share my opinion. This was sent to me for free. Getting paid for a product review is actually something I think we either don't do it or 99% of the time we won't do it. I'm like, there's no such thing as getting paid for a product review. Getting a free, there is such a thing, but I'm like, now I'm incentivized because I'm getting money. If I get the product free with no holds bar, right? Like, hey, I can say whatever I want. All they did was send us a review unit and listen, here's my thoughts.
Yep.
I like that. And then the point is to disclose it, right?
Yes. And that's a great point. Even if it's free, you can say, I think there's hashtag gifted or hashtag free, and just as long as they understand that you got it, because sometimes even free is a gift. And the FTC just wants the viewer to understand, how did you get this product? And so they understand your motivations. And it's harder, I think, when it's paid or gifted to give maybe a neutral opinion about it. That's really my opinion. So
there's probably 3 levels. If you got paid money to review it, that's like the least bias. If you got it free, but you maybe get I trust a lot of creators because they're like a tech review factory. They just get lots of headphones sent to them, lots of cameras sent to them, and they develop maybe a level of trust in their opinion. But they certainly, I think then that 3rd level is the highest level. When a creator jumps on and goes, so the camera I decided to purchase,
right,
which might also be like, hey, out of everything, this is what I spent my own money on, or I did buy this myself regardless, and I don't love it, or I do love it. So that's interesting. Keep going.
So disclose everywhere. I would say over disclose. Now, I understand a lot of times creators don't want to do that because they think, oh, it's like annoying or it's too much information. But I would say the FTC is cracking down on creators. And I think the example you mentioned with Kim Kardashian is a good one. They're realizing, I think the FTC is realizing how much money is going into the creator marketing space. And they want to make sure that people are disclosing that they are getting paid sponsorships or that they're investors, right? Or they're getting equity, even that they're somehow an owner in the business, because that also will skew, right, their opinion about the product. If you know that Alex Earl is now a part owner in Poppy, you might think, Well, no wonder she likes Poppy so much. She owns part of it. I don't know, right? I'm making that up, but you know what I'm saying. She might really like Poppy, but you do. The FTC just wants the consumer, the buyer, to have all the information before they decide to buy something.
Yeah, and if I'm looking this up right now, it was 2023 that they had updated endorsement guides, clear and conspicuous. Clear, easy to understand. It should be obvious to the audience that the endorser has a relationship with the brand. Conspicuous, difficult to miss. The disclosure should not be placed where it should be placed where people are likely to see it. So you might put it at the top of the description, which is where we do at Think Media. We'll say, like, earns commissions from affiliate links. We'll say this video is not capital NOT sponsored to actually, I mean, to at least frame it, like, just to be clear, this video is not sponsored. We'll use affiliate links pretty much all the time, right? If it's a book or whatever, so we disclose that. So you don't want to bury it. Conspicuous would be not hidden, but put it difficult to miss. And then they say being paid by the brand, getting free products or services from the brand, having a family or employment relationship with the brand, owning stock from the brand. When it comes to affiliate marketing, or when it comes to the YouTube box where it says includes paid promotion, if you purchase a product, which we buy lots of stuff off Amazon ourselves without a brand deal to review or to include in a video. Mm-hmm. And the video is not sponsored. We're not getting paid. We purchase the products ourselves. And we will verbally say, and hey, if you want to check out any of this stuff, there's links in the description down below. Those are our affiliate links, which means we earn commissions or might earn commissions. Would we be okay not checking that YouTube box, or do you think that we just always should?
That's a great question, and I actually will not answer it because I don't know the answer. I need to go actually look at the kind of terms and service about that, because affiliate marketing is, I think, different in terms of what a paid promotion is, because Amazon is not paying you anything. That's what a paid promotion is.
Yeah, not up front.
Right.
Yeah.
But they haven't paid you. They haven't sent you a product. You decide to use the product and then put a link to it. I'd like to actually do a little more research. I will never say something I don't exactly know. So I want to check on that, but I don't think you need to. And I do want to answer your question about bearing the hashtags. Yes, always have it at the beginning of your description. It should be visible when they're looking at, before you click on the more, like it should be in the beginning of your description, because the FTC just wants to know that you are disclosing it to your audience and the audience gets to see it right away, that it's not buried. And I love that you have the not promote. This is not promoted. I think what people have to realize, creators have to realize, is FTC is coming for creators. They're realizing how much money is in this space and they want to start making an example. And
I'm Philomena, founder of Kin Apparel. I love my natural hair, but not what hoodies and hats were doing to it. So I made my own satin-lined hoodies and created a business in the process. I've got big dreams, and Chase for Business in Philly was like, all right, how do we get you there?
Get financial guidance from bankers in your community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, and a member FDIC.
As we saw from the FTX situation, I mean, a lot of creators got sued because of what happened there. And the FTC wants creators to disclose, but also maybe even do some due diligence. If you're promoting a financial product like crypto, I think that's why those fines are so huge. And that's why the FTC came after the creators, was because finance is so regulated, and it's people's money. It's people's entire life savings. It could bankrupt people. So they take that very, very seriously, especially when it comes to finance products.
If we go into that, I mean, this is a massive thing. CoffeeZilla is covering Logan Paul, and he's covering, he specializes really in a lot of crypto. Andrew Tate has said he wouldn't promote any crypto projects, yet has promoted many, and now is pushing one of his own. And we are seeing a lot of influencers scamming their fans through crypto, a lot of finance influencers. Perhaps ignorance is not an excuse, but early on with FTX kind of fooled a lot of people, and Sam Bankman-Fried, it seemed like the best thing in town. And yet a lot of people got screwed over on that. And there's all kinds of stuff in this space in regards to giving financial advice about stocks and things pumping up like GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond. And there's just so much happening here. What should creators know about this crypto space from your perspective? What are the dangers if you're a content creator talking about crypto finance? And how can the creators also just stay safe so they don't get scammed or sucked into this stuff?
I want to say don't do it, but I know that's maybe too strict. I think crypto endorsements are really tricky because you always have a chance that one of the crypto companies that you're endorsing is going to scam its buyers, its users. I know that there are a handful of kind of the legitimate ones, the bigger ones, and I will disclaim this by saying I don't own any crypto. I'm not an expert in crypto. There are maybe even crypto people who can speak better than I can, but I think you just have to be careful with any endorsement that you do. To actually do some research, ask around, maybe ask other finance creators if you're one. Hey, what do you think about this product? I saw that you did an endorsement. Maybe that's it too, right? Is seeing who else has done endorsements and talking to them, and just doing a little bit of homework before you just decide to take a paycheck. Not a paycheck, like a check from a brand. Because they're offering it, and I think a lot of creators are smart. A lot of creators, when they get those very funky looking emails, will know. Is this a real brand deal? Is this a fake brand? Is this a scam? I think a lot of creators also say no to brands because they're a little scared. I mean, I certainly have clients who do that, who I'm surprised they will say no. I will bring in, I manage about 30 creators. I bring brand deals to them, and some of them will just say, no, I don't want to do that. Like sometimes it's insurance, and it happens to be a big creator. Let's say it's a food creator. And she says, do I want to sell insurance? It is a paycheck, but what's a great piece of advice I love giving to my clients and creators is ask your audience, what products do you love? And then you can go show the brand, look, my audience loves you. Can we do a partnership? And then actually do that brand deal. And then your audience is blown away because you actually listen to them. That has been very successful for a lot of my clients, is to ask your audience, what products do you guys love right now? I'd love to check some out. And then that would maybe make sense. And it could be something not in their niche. And so that's, I think, something that's very powerful.
That is a super powerful tip, right? As we're landing the plane of the podcast, you got to listen to this whole episode because it's packed with so much value. But Tyler, I already, again, I'm only halfway through my questions. And so we will get you on the calendar again. I want you to shout out your stuff in just a second. And I have one final question for you. But listeners, thanks for listening to this episode. And I did my best to actually run all of last 400 comments so far on part one, which will be linked up in the show notes. I ran it through Google Gemini to kind of summarize some themes. And I want to continue to listen to our Think Media podcast listeners and pass those questions along to you. So if you listen on audio, visit the YouTube version, drop in the comments on YouTube. What questions do you have about this stuff? What other topics would be helpful to cover in the future? And definitely subscribe for future episodes of the Think Media podcast, for growing your channel, getting more views, but also for staying safe and building real legacy and a solid business on solid ground. And Tyler, just acknowledge you for so much value. Now, let us know, what are some of the things you have going on? You've got communities, you've got resources. We'll make sure it's all itemized in the show notes. But shout out where people can connect with you for more.
So you can find me on my YouTube channel called Tyler Chow, the Creator's Attorney. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm actually writing on there several times a week. I try to write every day, and just kind of everything we cover today, I do on LinkedIn. I am starting a community, and I think really based on our last conversation, Sean, it's shown me that creators really do need a space where they can come get legal advice, that they can maybe talk to other creators as they're starting out or even further along in their journey. And I think I'm going to launch I'm going to open it up. I think I'm going to have a Black Friday sale. So if you join then, it'll be at a discounted rate. But I'm probably going to launch it in either December or January. It's going to be on Mighty Networks, and it will feature myself live probably twice a month. We'll have just a huge Q&A for creators to come in. One of my clients, Jenny Hoyas, will probably, some of my clients will come on and answer questions. Cassandra Bankston's another client on, how to grow your channel, how questions, brand deals, different things. And I really think that creators should diversify their ways of making money. And launching a product. I'm actually helping one creator launch a cereal right now and another one do press-on nails. Like, I'm just getting to be an expert in all these different things. So I'll cover kind of in those 12 months with me in my community how to launch a product and how to do different things to make money. Like, I'm being the guinea pig. I'm doing the community to see, like, this is a good idea. Capture your email list. I think that's so important. Start asking your audience for their emails, and do affiliates. I mean, I think, Sean, you're really good at that. I'm just starting to do that. One of the products I really love right now is called High Level. It's a CRM. It's a system that it's replaced my Calendly, my DocuSign. It sends out mass SMS for your YouTube and Instagram audience, and I've been using it and I love it. And so check them out. We can hopefully have the links down below, but I will have the wait list for my community. I'll share that with you, Sean, and maybe you can put in the description. That would be great. Because I think it's something that a lot of people are asking for, and you'll be able to buy templates from me as well, like independent contractors, employee, NDAs, anything. I'm very much, hey, Tyler, I need this as a creator, and I will really think about making that for you, because this is my life's mission, to protect creators and grow you guys all to be 7-figure creators.
Hello, handsome. And hello, random chair. Clean up with Apple Intelligence means goodbye, chair. iPhone 16e. Latest iPhone, greatest price.
The right energy is everything. Rockstar sustains mind, body, energy.
Rockstar energy. We'll make sure that all of that is in the show notes. One short answer to the final question. What do you think is the right mindset for creators in 2025? Or what is the mindset going into the opportunity, but also maybe how they could navigate in terms of seizing the opportunity and staying safe in the creator economy in 2025?
I think 2025 will be a huge year for creators. I think there's just so much focus. I mean, I was at the Forbes and Walmart upfronts this week. I mean, the huge brand is wanting to just work with creators. There were probably 50 creators who were brought in to kind of introduce themselves, and it was electrifying. And all this money is pouring in, private equity funds, Hollywood, like traditional. I had a conversation yesterday with one of the, like, this huge studio owner who wants to know how to start a YouTube channel. I mean, it blew me away. I mean, he's a dad at my son's school, but he was like, I was sharing with him what I was doing. He's like, oh my God, I have to buy you lunch because I want to find out how to start a YouTube channel. I mean, he has such an established brand. If I said his name, you would lose your mind, but I'm going to not. And he's the biggest horror producer out there. I'll just leave it at that. And this is where everyone is looking. Everyone wants to become creators. So if you already started your YouTube channel, you're already ahead of all of these people who want to become creators. All the tech people who've been laid off, all the kids, all the teenagers, all of the traditional TV and film people who are out of work right now because film and TV is drastically been slashed with production. They all want to come into the YouTube space because like I said, it's the American dream. Where else can you make a video and millions of people can see it immediately? There's nowhere else. And so I think be excited, realize that you're in the right place. Sean and Think Media is such an amazing resource for you as you're starting. So I'm so excited for all the creators who are listening.
Future is bright for the creator economy. In the creator economy, like, rate, review, subscribe for future episodes. My name is Sean Cannell, your guide to building a profitable YouTube channel, and this is the Think Media Podcast. We'll catch you in the next one. So how does the YouTube algorithm work? Does uploading a new video kill the momentum of the recent or last video? How does YouTube determine impressions?
One of the biggest hurdles for creators is getting over the idea that we make a video, we upload that video, and the algorithm pushes that video out. Try not to think about the algorithm too much because the algorithm's job is to follow the audience.
We're going to be unpacking really how to get views, how do impressions work, and even how do you create viral content. I'm joined by Renee Ritchie, who's the head of editorial and at YouTube Liaison, helping YouTube empathize with creators and helping creators succeed on YouTube. And he really is an incredible expert because not only has he been creating content since 2008, one of his channels has grown to over 300,000 subscribers, and he is a practitioner himself, as well as working at YouTube and being at all the events. He really can give us some insider insights to help you create an unfair advantage in 2025 for your YouTube channel and your content. Renee, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always great to be here.
So we did a community tab post and so many questions came in, and I want to hit those in relation to the algorithm, impressions, videos momentum, why a video has momentum and loses momentum. But from a high level, can you explain how the algorithm works?
Sure. So I think like one of the biggest hurdles for creators is getting over the idea that we make a video, we upload that video, and the algorithm pushes that video out to viewers when it's actually the other way around. What the algorithm does is pull videos for viewers. So a viewer will open up the YouTube homepage on their phone or on their laptop or some other device, and within a few milliseconds, the YouTube algorithm will try to figure out what are the best videos for that person at that time, on that device. And populate those on the screen, the videos that they're most likely to want to click on, watch, enjoy, interact with, so that they have something that's going to be satisfying for them to watch. So the advice that we try to give people is try not to think about the algorithm too much because the algorithm's job is to follow the audience. So if you have questions about the algorithm, replace it with the word audience, and almost all of the time you'll get a way better answer.
And one of the things that everybody wants is views. Like, how do I get more views? But before you can get a view, you have to get an impression. What is an impression?
So an impression is like there's multiple traffic sources on YouTube. And one of the best pieces of advice I can give people is go into those traffic sources. Because a lot of times you'll open up YouTube Studio, you'll see like the click-through rate, you'll see like the view duration, and you'll just stop there and think the video is good or bad. But what you really want to do is see what those numbers are for search, for browse, which includes the subscription feed, the homepage, all of those things, because it can vary wildly within those. And impressions are specific mostly to the browse tab. Like anytime we show a thumbnail, I guess search as well, anytime we show a thumbnail on the page and a viewer has the opportunity to look at that thumbnail and choose whether to click or not, that's an impression. The thumbnail being there in front of a viewer is an impression.
And so by nature, if a video gets 1,000 impressions, that just means like a chance to be viewed. And if the video had a 4% click-through rate, then it means you, out of 1,000 impressions, you would have gotten 40 views.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it's that thumbnail was shown to a viewer as an impression.
And if we break down these traffic sources, for those that are maybe thinking about how they could strategically use them, Shorts feed is a traffic source, and that's also a little bit different than impressions. An impression is kind of the same, but if it's actually being in the Shorts feed, it means it went through someone's feed. They may have swiped away from it, but it went through their feed distributed by YouTube, correct?
Yeah. So with long form videos, when you look at those browse areas, those browse surfaces, you have impressions and click-through rate. Because the shorts are in a feed, there's no thumbnails, there's no browsing, there's no impressions. So there you have viewed versus swiped away. So if you put up a short and you have like a few hundred or a few thousand views, treat those as impressions, because it means it's the shorts algorithm sort of testing that video with audiences the way that the long form algorithm would test those thumbnails with audiences.
The ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional grade supplies for every industry, even hard to find products. And we have same day pickup and next day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is the way that the long form algorithm would test those thumbnails with audiences.
Okay, so then if we break down the long form traffic sources, YouTube, you explain these just kind of in a high level, simple to understand. What is YouTube search?
So YouTube search is someone goes to YouTube, there's a search box at the top, they type in what they're looking for, and then it generates a ranked list of videos that YouTube believes best matches that query, personalized to the user. There's always two metrics. There's performance, which is how well those videos perform, which is more of an objective absolute. And then there's the subjective part, the personalization. You and I could both see a video that has the same performance, and you might, thumbs down, and I might thumbs up just because of our own personal taste. So it's going to rank based on performance and then re-rank based upon personalization. And you'll get that order in the search. And then if someone chooses your thumbnail, that impression would convert. Like you'd get the click-through rate for that impression to a view.
So what are you telling me that the search feed is slightly personalized, and perhaps meaning if I was to open an incognito window, I could get different results if I did a YouTube search than I would based on like my viewing history if I did a YouTube search?
Yeah, that's one way that someone might say, I didn't see this video in my search. Like open up an incognito window and search and see what you get there.
Got it. So there would be that idea that if someone is just going to YouTube or hasn't conditioned their account with their watch history, you might have kind of a universal ranking versus more of a personalized ranking. But the bottom line is there is the ability to search on YouTube. And in doing so, that becomes a source of impressions. Doesn't mean they're going to watch your video, but if your video ranks anywhere on that first page or any page that a viewer clicks through, they could see your thumbnail, and that would be the equivalent of one impression. So then another traffic source is browse features. What does that mean?
So browse features is where there's sort of like a bunch of thumbnails on the page, and you can browse through them and click on the one that you want. So for example, the subscription feed is one of those. Probably for most people, the home page is the biggest source of browse traffic. And then I think there's up next is also included in there.
Got you. So that's traffic from the homepage or home screen, the subscription feed, and other browsing features. And then there's suggested videos. And these two are known as like the power traffic sources. Like if something's going really viral, it's typically not going to go viral from YouTube search because there's only a certain amount of search traffic in any given month, but it just continues to satisfy viewers, and it's showing up on people's home pages, and it continues to spread. But suggested is a little bit different than browse. What is suggested?
So suggested is, for example, the sidebar. If you choose a video and you're watching a video, there'll be other videos in the sidebar, or on mobile, there'll be other videos underneath it. It does cause some confusion because people will see videos that don't relate to the videos that they make, and they'll think that YouTube doesn't understand their audience. But what YouTube, again, is it's not centered, like the discovery system is not centered on creators, it's centered on viewers. And viewers typically have a wide range of tastes. So if I click on one of your videos, I might see like a couple more of your videos in the suggested sidebar. Then I might see videos from other creators who make things that are similar to yours. But then I might see other videos based on what I watched like 20 minutes ago. Like maybe it was I was watching a bunch of sports videos or coffee videos, and I'll see some there. So then if I click on a coffee video, they'll go into suggested and say, hey, they came from Sean Cannell. Does YouTube not understand my audience? But it's the opposite. So we understand that people like varied topics and that people choose their own journeys. Sometimes they want to keep going. Sometimes they want to change the channel, literally. So we make, so suggested is the videos that YouTube is recommending next to what you're currently watching.
Yeah, and it makes total sense too. Sometimes, especially if it's video podcasting or education or something, at some point, like you said, you're done, but you want to go then watch a music video, or you want to go catch up on a political town hall or something. And so it might seem completely unrelated, but YouTube is a massive, in a way, marketplace. It is not unlike hundreds of channels on DirecTV. So you're like, I'm done with Comedy Central. I'm ready to go catch into the news, or I'm ready to go learn something on the cooking channel. And so then there's other YouTube features. So what is that? And then there's even others. And so I'm looking at actually my back end right now and maybe list off a few things because there's other places impressions and views could come from.
Yeah, there's notifications, which is the one place where YouTube actually does push things out, especially if people select all, to get all notifications. And I'm blanking on it, so I don't have them in front of me, and there's a rather long list, but there's the shorts feed, and there's just a variety of other things that are in there.
Got you.
Related video links are in there now. Someone click through from a short to go to your video. So
Sure.
it's just, yeah.
And even, it goes even deeper. I guess you could have, if I look in here just to list them
External
out,
is big.
External, director unknown, notifications, playlists, related shorts, end screens, hashtag pages.
Ads, if you run your video as an ad, you'll see like an ads traffic source there as well.
I would encourage creators too to probably not get too distracted with those lower level ones. Who knows? You may have some miracle amount of traffic that comes from there. But if you take, for example, hashtag pages, I got 58 views, and it's equivalent of 0.0% of my traffic, compared to like actually Shorts feed was 2 million views, and this was on our Think Media podcast channel. So just different in percentages. Okay, so we're kind of established.
Sorry, just for a second. Like one thing that's really good though is like it's a way to judge your anxiety level sometimes, because we'll get a lot of times when people will say, like someone said they're not getting notifications, they're not clicking through to my video, and then I always encourage creators to go and look at the notification traffic, because like I know on my channel 14% of people have the bell set to all, 8% of those have turned off all notifications for the app, and you can only do that after you set the bell to all, which means at some point they just had enough of notifications, and then 1% click through because they're busy, their operating system stacked them or delivered them quietly or did an AI summary for them, and they just come, like they watch your video, but they do it from the homepage when they get home, and or when they take out their phone and it's convenient to them. So rather than, and some people will spend days, being super stressed about their notifications, and then they go and look and it's such a tiny amount of views. I would just say, like, get a sense of where your traffic comes from and spend your efforts on nurturing the sources that you're really successful with.
That's a great point. Out of 2.5 million views on the Think Media podcast in the last 28 days, 5,000 views came from notifications for us. And then the big one, Shorts feed, YouTube search, browse features suggested is where a lot of our
So it's a nuanced answer. So like one of the things that it can depend upon is like, it depends, a lot of these answers I'm going to give you depends a lot on the creator and their audience. So for example, if you're a news channel and you're doing breaking news, whether it's like finance or weather or something, and you're putting up 10 videos a day because your audience expects the latest news immediately, they're going to pick and choose which ones they watch. So like those videos are all going to be stepping over each other because very few people come to YouTube so often that they're going to come every 10 minutes to find every one of your new uploads. Other people maybe like they do an engineering video and the project takes them 3 months. So they post 3 times a year or once a month or something. And that next video is going to have very minimal impact because most people are going to come to YouTube way more than once a month. So a lot of it depends on your content. If you can figure out sort of like the rhythm of your channel, if you know people tend to come like every 3 days, it's unlikely that at the top of recommendations, they would have 2 recommendations for the same creator. So like you open up the YouTube app and you see like your first 3 videos, or you open up on the desktop, you see your first 8 or 12 videos. It's unlikely that if you've put up 2 videos close together, both of them will be there. They'll be the one that the YouTube system thinks is the most likely for the person to click on. And if they scroll down, they'll probably get to the other ones. But it does mean that at some point, people might start choosing in between your videos, depending again on the frequency and the urgency of those videos. Same thing, like if you post a video and then go live, a lot of people are going to say, oh, they're live, I can't miss this. And they're not going to look at your video. So maybe like go live and then tell everyone you're about to launch a video and think of it strategically.
So let me know if my thinking is correct here. You're saying it's unlikely that 2 of your videos would be recommended on like the golden opportunity of YouTube traffic would be someone logs in, your video's right there on the homepage. If it's on desktop, there's 8 choices. And if you're there with a great title and a great thumbnail and people click on it, love it, then you are theoretically going to get disproportionate distribution, and maybe the video even goes viral. It's unlikely there'll be 2 recommendations there. However, that could lead you to the idea that, well, I only want to upload one video so that a week, let's say, so that it has the greatest chance of like making it to the homepage, but that would not necessarily be the logic. Even if you were to upload 2 or 3 high quality videos, high effort videos, even though there might not be 2 there, you're also giving your chance more at bats. Because if your video doesn't perform, its distribution, if even subscribers are skipping over it, well, then it's also maybe likely you would have 0 recommendations on the homepage, let's say. And so it's a nuanced answer to your point that if you're putting out great content, consistent uploads, are giving you more at-bats. Is my thinking correct?
Yeah, and maybe like a video is overperforming, so you decide, you make a strategic decision to give it a little more space. Or maybe it's underperforming, so you make a strategic decision to upload another video closer. Or you know that these are just entry point videos, and they'll start watching the first one, but then they'll go to the second and third one that you know that someone who just loved that video would love to watch next. So it has to be part of an overall strategy. The only thing I call out there is that each traffic source primarily affects the same traffic source. So if you upload a video and your subscribers aren't into it, there's no like algorithm in the subscription feed, so it doesn't really matter. What matters is on the homepage is how people who watch on the homepage are reacting to it. 'Cause I know some people are they worried that their subscribers won't be into it. Check to see how many subscribers actually watch the subscription feed versus the home feed, and then figure out, does it really matter if they aren't into it? As long as if it's really compelling, great packaging, the home feed is where that sort of performance is going to be measured.
So let me just then a totally personalized answer. We upload the Think Media podcast on Tuesday and Thursday as a target, and if Tuesday popped off, like you said, wow, that one's getting 2x, 4x our typical performance. It's a 1 out of 10. Would you give it more space? I'm asking you personally, and maybe say, hey, let's push back the Thursday upload. Let's let this thing continue to run. And for us, we found that flexibility. We can study our upload times. When should we upload? We could upload on Friday or Saturday. And actually, as far as how many of our viewers are online, it stays pretty consistent, and we would be paying attention to that as well. But if what would Renee do if you really had a breakout video on that Tuesday? Would you give it some space?
Yeah, so like the way I'm going to answer this is like there's 2 different like large categories of personality type. There's one personality type who really cares about the immediate performance of a video. If you are that type, it's easy to say don't, but if you are that type who I launched a video, I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for it, I would give yourself a little space. Like let that video perform as best as possible. But if you're somebody who uploads a video and then doesn't look at it for a week, you're like, whatever, system's going to do what it's going to do. We found that over the course of a month, when you publish doesn't matter that much overall, because those views will accrue. Like maybe you won't get 2 videos in the top spot of recommendations, but maybe like 2 days later that person comes back to YouTube and the other video is there. Like, because YouTube doesn't give up on videos, it keeps testing them. So if you're willing to wait and you're not sort of bound to the initial day's performance, I would just stick to your schedule and not worry about it too much. Old Renee tended to be very stuck on the immediate performance. Current Renee is just set it and leave it.
I think that's smart, and not to. I think either personality type I think is okay, but I almost feel like that's a more maturing type of perspective, as you've just been on YouTube over the long haul, not unlike me. I think we go into that, stick to the schedule, stick to the system, stick to putting out the best content you can, and just understanding the shelf life of YouTube videos. I'm like anybody emotionally tied to the day of upload. Oh, 10 out of 10. I'm a failure. Of course, it's emotional roller coaster. But I have just learned, especially with our obsession at Think Media for ranking videos, that it's man, the first week or the first month, man, if you're especially creating evergreen types of content, videos could be getting views for weeks, months, and years to come. And 5 years later, if the video is still getting significant views per hour, you're not thinking back wait, was that a Tuesday or a Thursday? What was the upload time? Yeah. It's irrelevant, ultimately, because the long game of YouTube on evergreen content sort of trumps all of this stuff.
Absolutely. I came to this realization personally when I noticed that my videos that were 8 or 9 out of 10 were suddenly my biggest videos because they were evergreen. They were buyer's guides. And then so the answer, the actual answer is yes. If you upload videos close together, they can have an immediate impact on other videos, but over the course of a month, especially if they're not time sensitive videos, they'll probably end up at the same place.
Okay, so another question is, how does YouTube determine impressions? For example, why does a video get low or no impressions after uploading? And what should a creator do to try to get that video impressions. And I'm sure a lot of creators are thinking, if I have a newer channel, and this question's kind of like, it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like we all should imagine, and YouTube is certainly giving creators opportunities, but I think people are wondering, how does it work? Like in the sea of all of these competitive content creators, how could I even get my initial impression? Why would I get an initial impression? And what are some opportunities to trigger that, or to, ultimately position our content for the best opportunity?
Yeah. So I think like going back to like the 1 out of 10, 10 out of 10 things, I think like in some cases, like that is like we made an amazing video or you made like a not so good video. But I think in other cases, you can look at that as sort of market potential. Like I like to think every video is sort of bound by its market potential, and then within that range, your execution on that video. So like if you make the best video in the world, but it really only appeals to 5 people, like it doesn't matter that it's those people are super love it, and maybe that's what you really care about. But it's not going to be like a billion view video just because like there's not that big an audience for it. And so sometimes the 10 out of 10 videos aren't that they're not great videos. They might be amazing videos. It's that the potential audience for that video isn't very large. And so I think sometimes creators will make a video, like especially in their beginning, it might not be a great video. And then the answer to that is like keep making videos, keep learning, keep improving, make better and better videos so that when people do give them a chance, they might like them and then the system will kick in there. But the other thing is like, what is the potential audience of your video? So a video might not be getting a lot of impressions. It might not be performing well. You can do things like updating the thumbnail, updating the title, put your title on the homepage, look away, look back. Is yours the thumbnail that your eyes click on? Because there's going to be a Sean Cannell video here, and there might be like huge challenge creator YouTuber video there, like other really popular video tech reviewer here. And like, did people even see your thumbnail? Like it was on the page, but did they notice it, or were they too busy clicking on like the Sean Cannell video? And so be honest with yourself, like did your thumbnail really lock someone's attention while they're looking around the page or scrolling on their phone? And then was it enough to actually get them to click? Like did it make them curious enough or interested enough? Because it doesn't matter if it's a great thumbnail, someone looks at it and goes, I don't care. And then they just go on to the next video. So you have to really do those two things, capture attention and get clicks. And you can try like a new thumbnail, a new title for that. But also if that's not working, maybe the addressable market isn't very large. And if you care about views, because some people don't, like you have to be honest with what your goals are. We both know creators who make enormous amounts of money off very few views. Like they just have a very specific, really high value audience. They get like a few thousand or whatever views, and it makes incredible amounts of money for them. So they have a very different goal than views. But if your goal is views, like what is the addressable market of that video? And if the first one didn't take off, figure out like, how can I make a version of this that would appeal to many more people?
That's very interesting. Like niche appeal versus broad appeal would be a consideration. And then also it makes me think, especially when starting, there's an argument for Casey Neistat uploads a video. Somebody uses a software tool and says there's no tags and he left the description empty. Metadata doesn't matter. Then there's maybe this argument to where, yeah, but you're starting a channel from scratch and you're trying to let YouTube know what this video is about and tap into something that also is broad appeal. How do I start a new tech channel and compete with big other channels? Would you say that, well, metadata matters because early on, especially, that is going to be some of those signals. You're in the early days of impressions, and could impressions be connected to metadata? Because YouTube goes, okay, well, at least we're going to give this video a shot because it's explicitly clear that it's about this particular phone model or this particular camera or this particular sewing machine. What do you think about metadata?
Yeah, I think like it's interesting. So like Casey Neistat is his own topic. There's not a lot of people who can say that. Like people don't watch Casey for a certain thing. They watch Casey because Casey. So like that's one of those unicorn channels. That's not a great example for anybody to like Casey got to the top of that mountain, but like he ran around 8 times, climbed 3 trees. Like you can't just run up there. So so those examples are like, be inspired by them, but like you can't just say he doesn't use any title, like he can put any title on he wants, doesn't matter. But like to your point about metadata, YouTube tries to understand what a video is about. So if it has very little signal, if a lot of people haven't watched it, Again, thumbnail and title, the most important metadata, because that will get people to click and watch. In a previous episode, we talked about trends, and one of the ways to get people to have data on that is to use like hashtags, because then like if the topic is bigger than you, like if you're making a video on a popular concert or a movie or like a big news event and you hashtag it, you'll show up on the hashtag page for that. And maybe people looking specifically for that will stumble across you. If you have a good description in the beginning, like YouTube's trying to understand that video, that's what's going to help it understand. Eventually, behavior, audience behavior is what's going to determine the ultimate success and failure. So you can't like metadata your way into a good video. It has to be a good video, but it can help YouTube understand who to put it in front of, especially in the beginning when it's trying to test with those audiences. How they respond will be how it performs, but just sort of giving YouTube some help until it accumulates enough data is helpful.
There's this word thrown around called channel authority. And how would you describe that, and is it a real thing? What my understanding is, even using the new, what we talked about in part 1, if people have not watched it, of our recent conversations, we'll link to that in the show notes, talking about new YouTube features. Under the Inspire tab, you can also do a search of different topics to brainstorm video ideas for your channel. And there's now this kind of circle that gives you a prediction of how likely that video is to get views on your channel, which would be essentially what your channel's been conditioned to, or the types of subscribers that are subscribed to your channel, which I think is what people mean when they say channel authority, like you are an authority. And I almost wonder, I guess it's maybe a theory, and perhaps you can confirm or deny. Like on Think Media, we've developed, it seems to be a massive amount of authority around this title of like best camera for YouTube or top cameras for YouTube. And it would seem that, I could be wrong, but just title and thumbnail and the quality of the video and the watch time, of course, those are going to be the heaviest weighted metrics. And sometimes I wonder, and maybe velocity because subscribers click on it. I almost wonder, is channel authority a real thing? Because YouTube's also like, well, historically, Think Media has really satisfied people with camera related videos. What's your take on this concept, this mysterious concept of channel authority?
I think it's one of those yes and no things, because the algorithm tries to follow the audience, and audiences can ascribe authority, and that can manifest in different ways. So like, for example, you see like your favorite challenge YouTuber puts up a video, you know exactly what you're going to get if you click on that thumbnail. It becomes a no-brainer. It's sort of like a restaurant makes your favorite meal. Anytime you want that meal, you go to that restaurant, you get it, you're happy. If that restaurant served random food, it might be risky. You're like, I don't know, I'm not sure what I'm going to get. I'm going to go to this other place that I know for sure what I'm going to get. So audiences can ascribe authority. And sometimes when you see like, on my channel, for example, I talked about tech companies and I made some videos on Twitter and they did really badly. And I had to look at it and go, well, people aren't used to clicking on me for Twitter. So probably the people who watch me most weren't that interested. And by the time the system discovered people who were interested, they watched videos on Twitter from people that covered it all the time and that they trusted a lot. And nobody needs to watch 10 videos on Twitter in a given week. So it just like, it was exhausted before I ever got there. But on the same token, like you can make a random video and it'll go viral, and there's no, like you don't have any authority on that video, but it was something people really wanted at that time or didn't even know they wanted or didn't have competition that was underserved. So I think that audiences can ascribe authority, but on the other hand, like you always have these endless opportunities to do things that maybe you don't have authority for, but there's like a unique moment where that video just really resonates with people and takes off under its own power.
So under the Inspire tab, I mean, what YouTube is saying, if we brainstorm a topic and it says, yeah, this is probably going to be a peak topic for you, that's the Inspire tab giving us feedback of who our audience is, correct?
Yeah, it's sort of like the audience tab. You'll go there and you'll see which videos are bringing people back to your channel most often, but also which channels and videos people who watch you are also watching. And that can give you an idea of like, make more videos like those videos, or make videos that people who watch those videos would love to watch next. Or these are videos I'd never thought of, but I could do my own unique spin on because my audience is obviously interested in those things. And this is just like the next level of that. It's like, what are people watching here? What else are they watching? What do we think would be a really good fit for those people who are watching those videos?
That's very interesting. So it's kind of an amalgamation of in a way, a black box of data from YouTube of a combination of factors. So leaning into that, especially when we only have so much energy, many of our listeners might be trying to make one video a week and trying to put out an excellent video a week is its own challenge. Even if you do it full time or you're working a 9-to-5 job, you know the challenge of that kind of consistency. Well, when you use that Inspire tab, you ultimately, if you publish a topic where YouTube predicts, and of course, it's always take it with a grain of salt, and the AI could be right or wrong. But if YouTube predicts that it's going to be very low interest from your channel versus the other one, it's going to be peak interest from your channel and these other factors you're talking about, well, I'd prefer to do 4 peak interest as opposed to 4 low interest if I'm also trying to go full-time faster, if I'm trying to put out the videos with the highest potential reach, views. How would you address my thinking there? Do you ever wish that YouTube came with a cheat code? Well, it kind of does. It's called vidIQ, and it's packed with AI tools to help you grow your channel faster. Think of it like having a YouTube expert in your corner, giving you personalized tips and tricks to improve your videos so that ultimately you can get more views and subscribers. And the best part is you can try it out for 30 days for just $1. If you want to grab this offer, just go to vidiq.com/think or click the link in the show notes. All right, let's get back into the episode.
Yeah, again, I think it depends on your goal. Like, again, if your goal is like peak upper right views, then yeah, you want to lean into what is successful and give people more of what they love about you. I would again just stress that it's not meant to replace your creative strategy. It's meant like if you were hitting a brick wall or you have a creator block to give you ideas that you can riff off of. But you might also know that, hey, it doesn't think this is really good interest, but I've seen these XY things on other platforms or other ideas or in the news, and I just know there's a market for this. I would never not experiment just because you don't see something in a graph that gives you like a higher confidence level. I would always let the human win.
I gotcha. And so just to close the loop, if you're listening to this, we're talking about if you go to your channel and you go to analytics, there's overview, content, audience, revenue, and inspiration. That inspiration tab has recently been updated and will help you get new ideas for your next video using generative AI. And it's more powerful than ever because it is, of course, connected to not just your channel. The information is being served up to you by YouTube. But as we said, there's an amalgamation of factors there that can give you an unfair advantage or just a fair playing field for coming up with your next best video idea. And so we're talking about the algorithm. And as we talk about that, there's a big question where people wonder, can channels die? And is there such a thing as a dead channel? And one of the questions that came in says, well, if YouTube has just stopped giving impressions, is the channel dead forever?
So one of the things I like most about YouTube is like it really doesn't give up. Like I've seen videos where they get almost no views for a couple of years and then 6 million views over a weekend. And obviously that's like a huge outlier. But I don't think there's ever anything that's dead. Like there might be things that it would be less effort to start a new channel and build a fresh audience. But I don't think there's ever sort of an idea of dead. So like if you're going to be continuing on the same topic, I think you can invest in reviving that channel. Like, again, like seeing what's fresh in the market, because YouTube is competitive. It's like anything else. Like the biggest, one of the analogies I love is the biggest media company in the world right now with the 2 biggest franchises in the world is having a real hard time pulling views, and there's no algorithm involved. Like they're having like a couple successful movies, successful TV shows, but a lot of the stuff isn't working, no algorithm. So like that audience affinity and audience match and like product market fit, all of these things applies whether there's an algorithm involved or not. And I think like if you're continuing with the same topic, see who else is doing that, what's fresh, what's working, because there's always new like people coming into a space. The audience changes over time. It's like you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting not even like different results, but the same results, because everything does move forward. So I would just look at it, and if you're doing the same type, try those fresh ideas, experiment, see what resonates, lean into what works. If you're doing something different, like you might have some advantage if you think there's a big overlap with the existing audience or you have a lot of personal affinity on your channel. But otherwise, like you can experiment with new channels as well. Like just sign one up, start working with it. And sometimes it's just like there's less stress involved in that as well.
So we've circled around this topic of impressions many times now, but I think this next part could be incredibly insightful as I think, creators want to wrap their head around why did I get views? Why did this video do well? Why did this video not do well? And so one of the questions that came in said, okay, I'm making a video about a topic that is being talked about. So it's a trend, it's popular, and it has good click-through rate, and it has good average view duration, and it has good watch time, but the views slow down. So can you help us understand that sometimes our metrics might be incredible for us. Like, and this is a football channel. So our metric, let's say it's getting a 10% click-through rate and it's holding there. And then it's like, man, the average view duration is also phenomenal, 8 minutes or something. And that's pretty good platform wide. Yet at some level, we're capping out, sort of like what videos cap out and why do they cap out? Is it our subscribers? They maybe hit kind of an algorithmic wall. Is there any other angle of explanation to kind of help us understand why this might happen and how to think about that in terms of, do we try to do something to revive it or keep it going, or do we focus on the next upload?
Yeah, so there's a paradox of statistics, which you just have to learn about. So one of the things is, if you see a viral video, they typically have much lower click-through rate and much lower retention, just because the audience becomes so big that 3% of 1,000,000 is so many more views than 10% of 1,000. Like, you're just, as the videos grow and grow and grow, the chances of any one person clicking on is lower, but so many people are getting impressions that even with a low click-through rate, that just translates into a ton of views. So typically when you see a viral video, it's not that the metrics are super high, it's that the metrics were high through the core audience, but then it went into like a much more casual audience and they loved it as well. And then it just kept going more and more. And the metrics are going down because the casual audience is less invested, but the size of it is so massive. And like an analogy I totally stole from Todd Beaupre, is that it's like automated word of mouth. So let's say like I watch a video and I love it. And I know that you and two other people that, friends of mine are really going to love it too. So I recommend it to you. And you're like, not my cup of tea, but the other two people are like, you'd love this video. They tell 3 more friends, and they tell a bunch more friends, and they tell a bunch more friends. But it gets to a certain point where we've exhausted our friend circle. Everyone who is interested in it watched it or passed on it, and there's just nobody else that we can recommend it to, or we don't know anybody else to recommend it to. And that's when you'll typically see a video like launch and YouTube is like, this person would like it, this person would like it. Oh, we've shown it to everybody we think would like the video and they've either watched it or not. And then it tends to go back down. And you can make new friends. So like sometimes people will search and find a video and we're like, oh, maybe this is a new audience here. Or they'll be something in the news, or another big creator will make a video and you'll be in suggested. And there's ways that videos can find new audience. is. But it's typically that like it goes through that pocket of audience, and when that's depleted, it goes back into like, we'll try and see if we can find a new audience. And if we find it, you might see bigger or smaller spikes as it goes along. And with some of these videos, it's like, oh man, the friend circle loved it. But as soon as you tell people who aren't as close friends, they're like, no, not for me. And then because the